something happen to you like straight out of a movie?
I mean, throughout my life, I think maybe I'd say a handful of times, but yeah, a few times.
All right, so I had something. I don't know. It's kind of weird. So I was on the way home from work on Friday,
Hmm.
and as you and the listeners know, I have a breathalyzer in my car due to
Hmm.
my previous misjudgment.
Hmm.
Anyway, so I'm at a red light right off the freeway, and my breathalyzer goes off. Beep beep beep.
Oh
And
man.
I have to breathe into it, and I'm at a red light. Pick it up, and I blow. And there's a car. I kind of see it on my peripheral vision. It pulls up like right next to me. I mean, right off the freeway. This light, like the lanes are really tight, and
Hmm.
I'm breathing in. And as I'm breathing in, I look over to to my left, like right next to the driver's side window. And it's a
Yeah.
cop car, and in the
Oh.
cop car is on the passenger side is a cop with his sunglasses on, even though it's like almost sunset,
Yeah.
and he's staring at me completely,
Oh my
straight
god.
face, and I'm
Yeah.
blowing into this breathalyzer, and the way my breathalyzer works is you breathe into it, you breathe out. No,
Uh-huh.
sorry, you blow, you breathe in, you blow,
Mm.
and then it's done, right?
Okay. Yeah.
And like as I'm doing this cop is just staring at me, and I didn't really know. I was like, I'm not doing anything illegal. Like I'm just
Right.
at a red light, and I'm doing my civic duty
Yeah.
by
Right.
right. So I breathe into it, and I have this bright idea. I'm like, you know what? Fine, I'm going to show it to him, and because it shows the results, like
Oh my. Yeah.
of your breath. And
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
coming from work. It's not like I've been drinking, and I hold it up to my window uh, and show it to him,
No
and
way.
it's like he is completely straight face, sunglasses on, and he does, and like it shows the results, of course, BAC
Yeah.
000,
Uh-huh.
and he slowly brings up his hand and
Uh-huh.
does a thumbs up right next to his face, completely straight face. And like as soon as the thumbs up comes up, the green light goes, and the cop car just speeds off. And I was like, "You
Oh my, that
gotta
was
be
amazing.
kidding me!" Like, yeah,
That's
abs-
amazing. Oh, that's
absolutely,
so cool.
absolutely wild. I couldn't believe it. I was like, because it was one of those things like he and I, we had this weird mental connection where we both go
Uh-huh.
like, oh, we know what's about to happen.
I mean, yeah, he caught you doing that. You're like, oh shit. All right, well, might as well just show him because you know he was interested.
Yeah, because
uh,
what's funny is I keep like every time I have to, I'm driving, and you're not supposed to be on your phone, right, but this
right.
is a big piece of plastic that you have to
Mhm.
like be paying attention to as you're dealing with it.
Right. But you're stopped though, right? I mean, it's at a red light. But
Well,
yeah,
that
he's
sure, but
gonna
I mean,
notice.
it beeps whenever, so I can be on the freeway or driving down a street, and it'll beep. It doesn't. It just happens randomly.
So wait, what if when you're on the freeway,
Uh-huh.
it so you'll be going like 75 and it'll beep and
Yep.
but you can do it while you're going
Yes.
75, obviously. Okay. All
And
right.
not that I know this firsthand, but when
Yeah.
if you fail as you're driving, it's not like your car shuts off.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
It just alerts them.
Yeah. Exactly.
But that is so funny. It was that comedy Troopers. What is it? Super Troopers?
Super Troopers. Yeah. It really did feel like something out of Super Troopers.
With his sunglasses on. Were they aviators?
Yes. Oh,
Oh,
yeah. No, it was stereotypical cop
oh
glasses.
my god, that's amazing.
Littering and smoking the reefer. That's such a great movie.
Dude, it's so funny. It's so funny. Classic.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it in forever.
Yeah, no, it's been a while for me too. But that opening scene, for those of you who don't know, Super Troopers is about a group of cops. I think it's in Vermont,
Yeah,
and it's a comedy movie.
right.
It's really funny.
And they're ridiculous on power and the stuff they just I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
It reminds me of the comedy series. Oh wait, was it based on that? No. The one on Comedy Central. what was that called?
Oh, Reno 911.
Oh, Reno 911. Yeah.
It's
I
a
think,
little
I think that
it-
came after.
like
I think, right? Did Reno come after that movie? It must have.
that's a really good question.
I
You
think
know,
it did.
I don't think I did. Reno 911's pretty old.
Oh, maybe. Hey,
I
did
mean,
you ever finish the abduction, whatever, Manhattan abduction?
no, I did
Wasn't
not.
wasn't worth it.
You know, I, I suck because I don't like documentaries, which is trouble because we do a podcast that almost requires watching documentaries, and I don't like
Correct.
them. So it's tough for me. I don't know. I just don't like it.
It was a cool style though that they used, right? Um, but I hear you. I hear you.
Yeah.
Especially when they use the same tactics, and the same music and the same.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. But
A lot I think a lot of it for me is I already know how the story went. And
yeah.
so which is a dumb excuse because I've watched movies over and over again.
But yeah, true. But so this one is from the perspective of John Mack. Wait, not John Mack. Who's the other guy who did abduction research and books? But Bud Hopkins.
Yeah, but
So
he's not
yeah,
a
so yeah.
he's not a very
Well,
reliable source, that guy.
it was so this was through his wife or his ex-wife who was there during whatever was going on in his house or in his practice, and she recorded almost everything, even phone calls.
Mhm.
And so it's through her perspective about what happened.
Listen,
So I thought,
it's not unwanted. It's not unnecessary paranoia. If you're right,
yeah, she was definitely paranoid. So I don't know if she proved that what's her name was lying, but she was definitely out to prove that she was lying.
yeah,
She didn't do that with anyone else, because she was saying that the other people who were under hypnosis sounded a different way or a certain way, and that she didn't. You know what I mean? Like she was saying she wasn't really searching for things. She was just like she knew what she wanted to say. Anyway, I thought it
yeah,
was good perspective. If she definitely did that, it's insane. Just too many moving parts.
yeah. I mean, there's a lot. I mean, and the fact that other people witnessed it, which is super rare for UFO abductions.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. It's
What?
pretty.
Yeah, they're saying those could have been actors or something. Imagine that you convince people to do that. I think that's far.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty big
It's,
reach.
it's not like she was getting paid that much money.
Right.
So yeah, definitely a strange case. Well, we have a strange case today that we're going to do a deep
Oh, I
dive.
can't wait to get into it on this episode of the Uncovering Anomalies podcast.
That's
That
right.
is, I demand to know, no longer asking. He demands to know,
Absolutely.
and
It's a
that's
different
Adam.
day.
That
Yes.
is Adam. I am the one and only Topher.
All right.
Speaking of conspiracies, did you watch the fight last night? Was it last night?
I
No,
did.
2 nights
It
ago.
was Friday night.
Friday night.
Yeah. I did. And what do
What
you
a
think?
waste of time.
I know, as usual. But at least it wasn't like 20 seconds or like one round or Tyson biting someone's ear off. But
Yeah.
it was obviously Jake let him go through all because he could have destroyed him, I think, at some point.
Yeah, I mean, I texted because my family's got a group chat, and I texted them
Yeah.
as I watched Mike walk out. I go, okay, this is nothing. I said he's gonna throw,
Yeah.
but he wasn't there to win.
No, he was. You can see in his face,
Yeah,
right?
no,
When he was walking in.
yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I
He
said. I
had that
said,
face on him, like he really looked ashamed.
yep, exactly. That's
What?
exactly right. I watched him walk in. And I go, okay, this is all for show.
Yeah, and Jake Paul did do well, and yes, he did try, but if he really tried, he could have just destroyed Tyson. I mean,
Well,
and why do
maybe
that to a 50?
if they had both had tried, I think it would have been a much different fight.
I think he tried Tyson. Don't you think? Like,
No,
because he was
I
going
don't.
through his moves, but he never really.
No, I mean, if you watch the guy, he essentially was out there in a wheelchair. I could have moved faster. I'm the most out of shape person that you know, and I could have moved better than Mike Tyson. Not, I mean, he's
Uh,
50. He's 58. He's not in the grave,
right,
but
right. Which is impressive.
he just had no intention of making it a real fight.
No, his legs weren't as strong. I mean, it still looked like him probably the first 2 rounds, and then that's it. It was
Yeah, I was
just
gonna say the first round he actually looked like he was doing something, and then after that, I think that was the whole point. Give him a show, and then
yeah,
whatever. He did get
get
paid
paid.
20 million just to be there. So
Crazy, huh? And is that
yeah,
so? Both got 20 million.
no, he got 20 million. What the hell is that douchebag's
Jake,
name? Jake
Jake.
Paul. He got 40 million, but
Whoa,
he also bet his entire purse on the fight, so he made much more than that.
you're kidding me? He bet the 40 million.
Yeah.
What a crazy guy.
No, it's not crazy.
I mean, he knew it.
It's a setup.
Yeah, he totally knew
I'm
it.
sure, even though it's official that Mike got 20 million, he probably made a lot more. He and Jake Paul were like, okay, look, we're gonna do this fight. I'm gonna bet 40 million, so I'll end up with 50 or 60 million. Here's another 10 million or something,
Yeah. I can see it. It was totally scripted.
But there were a couple fights beforehand.
Those were good.
The two women that fought, I'm sorry, I can't remember their names.
I didn't watch that.
That was a good fight. The one who lost, she should have won. It was clear she kicked the other girl's ass. And then the fight before them,
Barrio and
Ramos. That was a
That was
great
great.
fight.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
both
I
went
enjoyed
down
that one.
once. Oh
Yeah.
man, that was a great fight.
And Barrio was much bigger than him, so he
Yeah.
was towering over that guy, but he gained confidence, I think, within like the 3rd or 4th round.
Yeah,
And he kept hitting him
Yeah, Ramos, he went down. Well, he kind of went down twice.
Yeah.
Technically, the first one didn't count because he didn't touch the ground.
Yeah,
I know,
but he knocked him. He knocked him a little down, though. I mean,
Yeah.
or he surprised him.
Yeah, I mean, man, that was such a good fight.
I liked it
Because
too.
I had in the background as I'm in the middle of a book and I was reading that, and I had that on the television. I kept having to put the book down to watch the fight because, man, that was a good one.
It was. I mean, they both had strong combinations, strong hits. I mean, that Barrio guy had a great jab.
Yeah.
And Ramos, he had that swing. His swing,
Mhm.
his right swing. He kept hitting like boom, like they were strong hits.
Oh yeah, yeah, no
Anyway,
kidding.
I love that fight, and they were great with each other. They hugged. They were
Yeah. There was a lot of respect there, and by the end, they're both bleeding everywhere. Their faces were all swollen.
Yes,
I mean,
cuts under their eyebrows. Both noses were bleeding.
Yeah, God, what a good fight that was.
I enjoyed it too. I really did. I'm glad that they had that. Wait, what did they have before that?
What did they have? What do you mean?
No, was there a fight before that one? No.
Yeah, there was. It was an Indian guy versus a guy from Brazil.
Oh yeah, I was shocked that he was Indian.
That one was kind of lame. Neither one of them could punch very hard.
Welterweight.
The Indian guy ended up winning by decision. But he was like essentially slapping. He kept doing.
It was hilarious.
He kept doing these punches that essentially like the side of his fist, like how you'd slap someone. That's how he punched.
Yeah, so unprofessional. He had his hands down too instead of up.
Yeah, and he was like showing off the entire time.
Yeah. I didn't know Indians are athletes. Sorry.
Whoa, hey, come on.
Well, I mean, they're kids and stuff like that, but
they play cricket mostly.
Yeah, mostly. I mean, their soccer teams are nothing. You never see them like the top tier.
I'm not gonna disparage an entire race of people, but based on that boxing match.
No, I know. I'm just saying. I was shocked to even see in the Indian team.
What was his thing?
Or someone from India at that level.
He was the first Indian boxer signed by a professional boxing organization or something.
Well, there you go. Yeah. Okay, and that makes sense. I was shocked. I know when I saw his flag, I'm like, oh, that's Mexico. And then you look closer, you're like, oh, wait a minute, that's India.
Yeah, but he had his hands down the whole time, and he was showing off.
Yeah, he was
anyway. But we should probably get started, huh?
Yes, we should.
It's been 15 minutes of us just bullshitting. Let's talk about the Flatwoods Monster.
Yeah, this is a great case from
I
the
love this.
1950s as well.
This is back
Now,
when the U.S. was groovy.
yeah, yes, and we had music, we had music that was very similar to this.
Hell yeah.
In a dusty room full of clues unknown, where the whispers dance and the tapes are shown, the radio crackles with
Anyway, I think that's good. Some
You
good
didn't even
stuff.
get to the good part.
Oh, all right, all right. I didn't want to disturb our.
tales untold, anomalies uncovered in a world so
Ooh, wait.
old.
This is all good.
Mysteries hidden behind closed doors, a podcast that's got me wanting more. Tune in tonight, we're on the edge of time. Secrets unraveling in perfect rhyme. Anomalies in the static and the noise.
That's such a great
Sparking
picture.
wonder just like old school toys. Each episode's a spark in the
In
dark.
the dark.
Yeah.
Uncovering secrets, leaving their mark. Anomalies in the static and the noise.
I love this song.
That's great,
Sparking
dude.
wonder just like old school toys.
10-foot monster.
Each episode's a spark in
In
the
the
dark.
dark.
I love that spark in the dark.
Uncovering secrets, leaving their mark. Old tapes spin tales from another age with voices that leap off the page. A journey through the echoes of the past.
I don't think that's the anatomy of what was seen.
Yeah, no.
Through the needle scratch and the finals hiss, the podcast uncovers every hidden twist. Lost to time, but now we're drawing near. Anomalies beckon, lending an ear. Anomalies in the static and the noise.
That thing's huge.
Yeah, it was very big.
Wonder just like old school toys. Each episode's a spark in the
In
dark.
the dark.
Uncovering secrets, leaving their mark.
Look, we can visit this place.
We should go, man.
Yeah.
I would look
Look
like
at
I I really want to go to West Virginia for a number of reasons. But I want to see I want to see this is this West Virginia?
Yeah.
No, it is West
Braxton
Virginia.
County.
Braxton.
Yeah.
Yeah, they also had the Mothman too.
You're kidding me.
No,
Oh, I didn't know it was in Virginia as well.
yeah, I mean West Virginia is, from what I can tell, I've never been, but it's just absolutely beautiful. But they have a lot of cool UFO stuff because it's all woods and mountains.
Right. Exactly. It's all woods and mountains. I mean, it's close. It's kind of close to DC, I guess, if you're flying.
Close enough. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's a bunch of military bases around there,
Yeah,
and
weird.
secluded, especially in the 50s. What was there in the 50s?
Who knows?
Yeah. But interesting case. So let's get into it.
Yeah, well, really quick, I want to say that was one of the first songs that I made on Suno. I did not write the lyrics. I just put in I think I put in for the style of music, I put 1950s pop, and then I put Uncovering Anomalies Podcast for the prompt. And that was what I got. And
That's it.
That's it. I love that
Wow.
song.
Wow.
I think it really turned out well. Good job, AI.
Amazing. AI is just something else.
Mhm.
It really shocks me every single week.
But now I can put on producer as part of my title.
Absolutely, yes.
We'll have to hit up my cousin, your brother, and and ask him what he thinks of our music choices.
Well, yes, I'm gonna ask him if he's heard them. I wonder if he uses it for some, because even like writers do it, not to write something for you, but like to get the engines
right.
It's good that way.
Yeah, actually, I can't remember if I've mentioned on the podcast, but I've been writing a book for a number of years.
Yeah, you have mentioned it.
Yeah, and my mom said, "Well, you could always use AI to get," because I know, like in my head, like I know the plot from A to B, but
Okay,
the middle part is where I keep getting stuck. And she goes, "Well, just use," my mom said, "Just use
that's
AI."
right. Yeah,
I was
exactly.
like, "God, I really don't want to do that."
I mean,
Obviously,
well,
you're not gonna. I'm not gonna I wouldn't copy it,
yeah.
word for word, but it gives you like a
It's like a
good out.
muse, it can
Right? Yeah,
inspire you
yeah,
because, yeah, I mean, as long as you make the prompt, like, where you say, "All right, I'm working on this book. I've done this so far. I've done that so far. I need this now." Are there some options, kind of thing,
yeah.
and then then you can take it from there or something. It's great that way.
Well, let's dive right in.
Yes.
After 7 Braxton County, West Virginia residents reported seeing the Flatwoods Monster while investigating what looked like a UFO crash, local authorities scoured the scene, but they found nothing and reportedly, in quotes, laughed off the reports as hysteria, as they always
I mean,
flip and
early
do.
50s, of course they're going to.
Yeah, this was not the time to talk
No.
about seeing UFOs and aliens.
Right.
So, one clear evening in September 1952, several boys in Flatwoods, West Virginia, spotted a strange object streak through the sky. It appeared to land in a nearby field, so they headed over to investigate and reportedly came across a 10-foot tall creature that's since become known as the Flatwoods Monster.
It's like the Vegas, monster.
Yeah, a little bit. That one is that keeps popping up in my Reddit feed. People are
Yeah.
still talking about that. It is bizarre. So the mother of the two boys, Kathleen May, and teenage National Guardsman Jean Lemon, were two members of the group who claimed to have seen the monster. They went on to give interviews to reporters and even shared their encounter on national television, spreading the story of the Flatwoods Monster across the country. Local police found no evidence to back up their claims, and
Aw.
a subsequent investigation by the U.S. Air Force concluded that there was nothing paranormal about what they had seen. But the 7 witnesses remained adamant that whatever had happened that September night was anything but ordinary.
Just West Virginia's getting drunk again.
Yeah, those damn hillbillies.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm thinking.
There had been no reported sightings of Flatwood Monster since 1952,
Right.
but the mysterious cryptid continues to draw visitors to rural Braxton County, West Virginia, to this day.
So the writer of this thinks it's a cryptid.
I mean,
Or
yeah,
that's one of the
we
options.
were, during that song, you were scrubbing through that YouTube video. You
Yeah.
saw pictures of it. I've seen reports that, I mean, that's all speculation, but
Right.
possibly could have been the ship actually, and not just the monster.
Exactly. Yeah, and it was probably an ejection, some part of an ejection.
Yeah,
and then it had like an armor to protect itself, and that's what
exactly.
it was, a machine.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like it was.
So the legend of the Flatwoods Monster. On September 1952, a group of boys was playing in their schoolyard in the tiny town of Flatwoods, West Virginia.
Tiny.
One of them suddenly gave a shout that turned all of the children's attention to the sky above. According to history, they saw a pulsing red light that streaked through the air and crashed onto a local farm. Two of the boys, 13-year-old Ed May and his 12-year-old brother Freddie, ran home with their friends to tell their mother Kathleen what they had seen. Mrs. May and the 5 young boys were joined by a 17-year-old National Guardsman named Jean Lemon and the May's family dog as they trekked to the farm to investigate. As they approached a wooden area near the open field, they noticed an odd mist. Lemon then thought he spotted a pair of glowing eyes in a tree. Suddenly, a Frankenstein-like monster emerged directly in front of them.
Scary. There's the
Very
sight right
scary.
there.
Yeah, cool. Lemon later described the creature as a 10-foot monster with a blood-red body and a green face that seemed to glow. Its head was shaped like a spade, it had clawed hands, and it seemed to be wearing a dark metal dress.
A dress.
Yeah, when you look at pictures of what was seen, it's got that cool, like a neck board. I don't know how to
Right.
like imagine popping your collar, but your collar is 3 feet long.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. That was behind it, and then the dress, whatever they called the dress, Looked like the bottom of like a rocket booster.
Yeah. The group immediately turned and fled. A local high schooler later recalled what he'd heard about the incident. One of the boys peed his pants. Their
Shit.
dog ran with its tail between its legs.
Wow.
Shout out to my parents' dog, Gus. Anytime he runs, his tail is between his legs.
That's so funny when dogs do that.
Yeah. The terrified witnesses immediately informed the police what they had seen, and they weren't the only ones. Dun, dun, dun. Multiple witnesses, always a good sign.
Yeah, that's true.
Additional sightings of the Flatwoods Monster. When investigators went to the farm to corroborate what Mrs. May and the 6 boys had seen, they found nothing amiss. A local newspaper wrote at the time that state police laughed off the reports as hysteria.
Yeah, those crazy kids. Yeah, so it's kids. I mean, it's not going to be drugs and alcohol.
And a 17-year-old National Guardsman, which I always find interesting about this story.
Yeah.
You could join the National Guards, I guess, like at 17.
Maybe back then. Back then.
However, the September 12th sighting wasn't the only recorded incident regarding the Flatwoods Monster. According to the official website of Braxton County, West Virginia, multiple other residents had encounters with similar unexplainable beings around the same time.
Right. Local newspaper, what does this one say?
Braxton County residents faint, become ill after running with a weird 10-foot monster. Oh, wait, sorry. Let me take that again. Braxton County residents faint, become ill after running with weird 10-foot monster. Imagine this newspaper spinning.
Yeah, exactly.
Several days before the events in Flatwoods, a woman named Audra Harper, who lived 5 miles north of Flatwoods, said she was walking through the woods with her friends when they saw a ball of fire on a hill. They thought nothing of it, assuming a farmer was simply burning something in his field. However, when Harper glanced back, he saw the dark silhouette of an eerily tall man emerging from the spot where the flames had just been blazing. Then, on September 13th, the next day, a young couple were driving on a rural route 20 miles south of Flatwoods when their car broke down. George and Edith Snitowski were with their 18-month-old son and were desperate to get their vehicle back on the road as darkness fell. Suddenly, they smelled sulfur. Never a good sign when it comes to UFOs.
No.
That means there's one nearby.
Yep.
Almost all people who have, allegedly been in contact with aliens, they always describe a sulfur smell.
I wonder if that's them or is it like something of the propulsion?
Yeah, very good question. So suddenly they smelled sulfur and a bright light filled the sky. When they looked up, there was a 10-foot tall monster hovering in front of them. It had clawed hands and a reptilian head. The creature touched their car before drifting into the nearby woods, and the vehicle suddenly started again. Isn't this the story where it left a hole in the car?
Yeah, it touched the car and its hand melted into the metal.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, the metal melted when it touched the car.
So here's a picture of a woman holding the picture of what they saw.
So that's Kathleen May. Okay, the one.
Oh, okay, never. That wasn't the people in the car. My bad.
No, yeah.
So, however, these incidents didn't get nearly as much attention. Excuse me.
Too bad, because that corroborates what happened, the days before.
Yeah, exactly. These incidents did not get nearly as much attention as the sighting by Mrs. May and the 6 boys. Their story quickly spread, and the Flatwoods Monster was soon making headlines across the country.
So it was a national story.
Do you want to take the official investigation?
Yeah. So the official investigation, though local police almost immediately dismissed the story of the Flatwoods Monster as hysteria, others weren't so sure. One newspaper publisher who spoke with Mrs. May and the boys immediately after the incident said, "Those people were the most scared people I've ever seen. People don't make up that kind of story that quickly." Mrs. May and Gene Lemon were invited to New York to speak about their experience on CBS, and news of the monster soon spread so far that even the U.S. Air Force got involved. Their conclusion, however, was similar to that of local police. Here's a drawing of that monster.
So that's Gene Lemon and Kathleen May again.
Yep.
I mean, it's a very scary looking drawing.
Especially if it's 10 feet tall.
Yeah, that's crazy.
What the hell? The Air Force determined that the streak the boys had seen in the sky was a meteor, which had also been spotted 300 miles away in Baltimore at the very same time. As for the clawed monster with glowing eyes, it was simply an owl, investigators said.
Are they sure it wasn't the planet Venus?
Yeah, it was. Yes, it was a planet Venus that turned into an owl. It does do that sometimes.
Yeah, you got to be really careful about the planet Venus.
Yeah.
It will sneak up on you.
The mystery of the Flatwoods Monster endures to this day. Roadside America reports that the tiny West Virginia town has embraced the legend, and there's even a museum dedicated to the cryptid that attracts believers of the paranormal from far and wide. We may never know the truth about the Flatwoods Monster, but the legend will continue to live on. So this was a mainstream article that summarizes what happened and then what the official story is. But we know that there's a lot of more details to the story.
Yeah, as always,
yeah.
always with these UFO cases. I mean, once you get down into the nitty gritty, but I mean, still such a cool. Yeah, look at that picture.
Yeah.
Yeah, if we're gonna play that YouTube video next, we get to see a lot more of it. But man, so I imagine 10 feet tall, collar popped, skirt wearing, claws. I mean, good Lord.
Yeah, and having that smell like that, and then after seeing it streak in the sky and then crash and then go after, because they went after it, right, to find it, and then when they got there, this thing it really reminds me of the Vegas one. I mean, not your backyard, but still. So, and this is Stanton Friedman on this.
Love it.
Event.
Love Stanton Friedman.
Yeah. So when I found this, I'm like, we have to play him. Audio's not that great, so let me know if you hear it clear.
Okay.
I hadn't heard much about the Flatwoods Monster case as I was growing up in ufology. I first got interested in 1958, and I'd heard about it and read about it in some encyclopedias and so forth. But it was only when Frank Fascino called me to appear at their 50th anniversary.
So Fascino, he's done a lot of the investigations since then and put together a great timeline and a great big picture of what went on over there. So
incredible. I mean, big shout out to these people who, excuse me, against all odds, not odds, but, you know, in a time where UFO research was considered, I mean, it would end your career, whatever career you had.
Oh, yeah.
If you had
Easily.
In UFOs, you know, that was it.
And they went on the ground, right? And they saw this site. They talked to the witnesses. They interviewed the witnesses. Then they did FOIAs, and so amazing work. So I guess so he invited Stanton to the 50-year, I guess, event anniversary, and that's what got Stanton really interested. He showed him his evidence, and Stanton looked at it, and he got convinced.
Cool.
So, yeah, let's listen to him.
Celebration in Flatwoods that I looked a lot more closely to see what do I want to get involved with here. I mean, is this real? Is it not real? Is it just a story? I was very impressed with what I found. So I agreed to go down there. And I was astonished in talking with Frank, and he was sending me material, and we spent time together at the 50th anniversary to see the enormous amount of information he had collected. And when talking to the witnesses, I mean, I believe you have to go to the site if you're going to learn something useful about a case. It's very helpful. So with Flatwoods, being able to walk the walk that the kids took going up the hill to see the big tree, to see the area where the saucer had landed up above. As soon as you saw those things, you got a very important context for the story. And that's what had been there. It was the highest place in the area. So whoever was running the darn thing would look around and say, hey, we better put her down there. There's no place else. We're in bad trouble otherwise. So that made sense. That place made absolute sense. And then when you go up the hill to go past the tree, what's left of it, the family, the people had gone up past, and the monster came out from, then you can again understand. They're going up there to see what's up there. They have no expectation at all of running into something over here, especially some monster, some different thing, some totally unexpected thing. And so when you start looking at this, and you talk to the witnesses, and you find out that the kids got sick, got a whiff of this crazy gas or oil or whatever it was, making the two together, and how they understood it could make kids sick, and the kids were sick all night long. The reporter found that out. When you hear about what the National Guard guy, Dale Levitt, found, it begins to.
Hey, it completely cut off. I can't hear anything. I can't hear
I'm
you.
so sorry. I was on mute. No, I
Yeah.
was saying that Levitt, he was the National Guard went in there on a private mission, and Fushino found that out, and he interviewed Levitt, who was part of the National Guard. So they were there collecting evidence and sending it back to who knows where. Yeah. So what were they doing there?
It's
you
almost
know?
like the government takes this seriously.
I know, yeah.
Hmm.
Not hysteria, that's for sure.
I can't hum any at a higher pitch. Yeah.
Yeah. So obviously, if they were there, someone was taking this seriously. This is in addition or separate from the Air Force investigation. So they knew something.
Yeah.
And someone
Clearly.
To really pile up facts and data and information. And then when I read the Air Force explanation, gee, no surprise there. It was just a meteor. Well, meteors have certain properties. They move very rapidly. When they hit the ground, there's a big noise and usually a big hole in the ground, and there are remnants of the meteor. None of these hold true. Meteors don't circle around the city and come down and land. You could say, well, it just went down the other side, but that wasn't what the people perceived. And when you hear the explanation, not only was it a meteor up there, although there's not the slightest bit of evidence that there was. And if you look at the meteor compilations for that year, no Flatwoods meteor. And when you hear about the monster and then the stupid explanation that it was an owl, I mean, a big owl. Real big owl. And if the kid's getting sick, was because they were frightened. None of that makes any sense. Look at that. Here's the monster owl. Here's the monster. You know how high the branch was up here when the skeptics put out drawings? Of course, they got the branch down here. But the object couldn't have moved out if there was a branch in the way. It went under the branch that was maybe 12 feet off the ground. So I don't know what this thing was. I suspect it was protective gear.
Right.
Being run by somebody, maybe even remote.
I'll never forget, as a young child growing up in Montana, we used to see plenty of owls, and I'll never forget there were so many of these 10 feet tall owls, and they
with the red glowing eyes.
Right. Yeah. They were just everywhere.
Yeah. And they smelled of machinery. Yeah. I know those ones.
Yeah. The sulfur smelling 10-foot tall red glowing eye owls. I can't remember the scientific name for them, but man, they're just everywhere.
I mean, they do this. They lie to just calm people down. That's what it is.
What's the? You know what? Never mind. I'm not going to bring up another case right now. But it was this. There's another UFO alien sighting where they said it was owls.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of them.
There was that. Well, okay, I'll bring it up now. So there's that guy. He was in his cabin with his family, and something was in the woods, and do you know the story that he took his shotgun out and he was shooting at them, and the official explanation is that he was shooting at owls that were surrounding his house.
Yeah,
I can't remember the name of the case.
Multiple owls.
Yeah, multiple owls.
That's hilarious.
I think he called them like gremlins or goblins or something, and then it was later dismissed as owls, which again makes no sense.
No. And what do you know? Remember what years this one was?
I think it was around this time. I could have sworn it was like 1940s, 1950s.
Yeah, I remember.
If I knew the name of the thing and I said it to you, you would know immediately what I'm talking about.
Yeah. And anyway, but they are reported people seeing owl-like things.
Yeah, I mean, think
Staring
about it.
at
I mean,
anymore.
short in stature, obviously not this one, but big eyes.
Big eyes, yeah, just staring.
Hmm.
I see what else.
Even in media nowadays, look at what's that movie
Bohemian
about that?
Grove.
Bohemian Grove, yeah. No, but there's that a lot of people who have alleged to be abducted, they said that they saw owls, and then when they were put under hypnosis, they said the owl was just a image put into their head by the aliens.
Yeah, was that movie The Fourth Kind? It was
That's what I
based
was
on.
talking about. Yes, yeah,
Oh, okay, yeah, the Alaska one, the Alaska case.
what a great movie.
Oh, dude, so good, and that was great casting. She's perfect for it.
What's funny is for those of you who don't know, and I'm sorry to report this to you, that whole movie's fake, even the quote unquote home footage.
Yeah.
But it was filmed at the I don't want to say it because that'll give away where I live. Never mind. Everything I just said, forget about
Spoiler alert. All right. Well, let's continue. But that's a good movie to watch.
And these seem to be antennas. Now, people were misled by the initial drawings that were put together as to what this was.
Oh, hey, what are you doing, man?
It's remarkable.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, hi, it's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you,
Mr. 10-foot monster man.
He's just sticking his hands out.
I like your dress. Are you
I hope you come in
Scottish?
peace. Are you Scottish? Look at those hands. Of course, reptilian. They have to be.
Yeah, but again, if this is some sort of ejection capsule, maybe those are not claws, but it's something to keep the thing steady. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and we have that too, like out in space. We have the robot arms, to grab things. It could be that.
Yeah,
I mean, especially if they are ETs, and this is not a planet they're familiar with.
Yeah, I can't remember where I saw it, but it must have been some sort of documentary where they were talking about this and how this might have been some sort of machine rather than an alien. They were saying like the eyes are essentially a viewport, and this thing. Yeah, I mean, if you look at the Scottish style dress,
Right.
it looks like a lander almost. And if the arms, maybe they curl up like human arms do, but maybe those are just landing stabilizers.
Yeah, it could be just some android like being,
Could
not necessarily a something that's alive. But it was scared, right? And it needed to get out of there. So I think he mentions that here.
Where's my hat? You shouldn't see me without my hat.
That is really strange, though. The helmet behind her, whatever that is.
Yeah, the popped collar.
Yeah, the pop's collar.
When you look at the 5 drawings made by the 5 kids who were up there,
Yeah, this part.
and the local reporter had each kid do it separately. And you see how alike they were. Standard legal procedures say if 5 people describe something the same way, then they're probably describing the same thing. And, this is impressive for 5 different kids. And this is peculiar. Nobody's ever reported a cowl-like affair as like Ace of Spades, a spade behind something. This is not like they copied it from a science fiction magazine.
It's like a Pope kind of what the Pope wears, isn't it?
A little bit. Yeah. Of course, the Pope wears something on his head. Where this seems like it's something that comes out of his, neck or shirt.
Right. Yeah. You said it's like a spade.
That one in the top right looks like a gnome. Look at right
here.
It
does totally. I mean, it could be where these stories come from, like fairies and gnomes.
That one looks like a gnome too. Yeah, but totally just imagine your garden variety, garden gnome, 10 feet tall. Yeah, how scary that would be. You'd be like, oh shit.
Oh man, that's so funny.
Magazine. So you have an honest reporter who actually.
Oh, and that's a good point. So this is 1952, West Virginia. They didn't have TV. I mean, that's what I read. I'm not trying to be like,
but
whatever. I mean, so it didn't have any influence of like like horror movies or whatever.
Yeah, they're not back home watching Star Wars.
No, yeah, exactly. This is rural West Virginia in 1952. Were there comics out back then? Yeah, there were. I'm pretty sure there were ones about tales from like other planets. Like they had those in the early 50s. I'm sure.
What's crazy about those comics back then was they actually had sound effects. Did you know that?
No, what do you mean?
You'd
Like
open
the
the comic
pow,
thing-
that thing, the pow.
Yeah. Pow! Bam! Superman came down from the sky and he punched that bad guy right in the face. That's what all the comics you'd open it and read it to you.
Kablooey.
Kablooey.
Kablam, yeah. All right, so here's Lee Stewart. He's one of the journalists honest journalists. Is that?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, in this, again, we can't stress this enough. Like right now, if you see a UFO, MSN, CBC,
CBS.
CBS, they'll give you the time of day. But back then, you had to have a very serious story for them to run anything.
Right, exactly. And they flew him to New York. I mean, this wasn't an owl.
MSN, man, I'm really not up to date with my
MSNBC.
That's probably the one I was thinking of.
Okay, yeah. Well, CBC is the Canadian Broadcast Corporation.
Oh, that's right. Okay, so I'm honestly, you could just say a bunch of letters nowadays, and you'll probably land on it.
Yeah, you'll get one of them.
He was willing to go on television with the kids and Mrs. May, primary witness. Now, I was favorably impressed with the witnesses, too. I get a real kick out of the people who attack witnesses but don't talk to them. Make up explanations. They were just seeking attention. They wanted to be somebody. The attention UFO witnesses get is not usually very pleasant, especially in a small town. They get laughed at by the people in the community. These kids had nothing to gain. Mrs. May had nothing to gain. Oh, they went on television. Big deal. They were being accommodating to a local reporter, Mr. Stewart. And when you attack the people's credibility without giving any good reason for doing so, and when you ignore the data, and when you refuse to go to the site to see things firsthand or to talk to the firsthand witnesses, that's what Dr. Joe Nickel did with regard to this case. He was in Flatwoods, but he didn't go up to see the hill or the gully where the thing moved down, and he didn't talk to the witnesses, and he didn't go to the tree. What kind of investigation is that? One of the major contributions Frank Fashino has made to the investigation of the Flatwoods Monster case is to dig out the Blue Book files. Difficult as it was, they were hard to read. But you look at all the witness testimony from that time. People saying it was not a meteor. I have seen meteors. People who haven't seen meteors might think it was, but I have seen meteors as clearly being flown. That's a quote from a witness. Obviously, the craft was in trouble, or it wouldn't have come down up there. They saw it as kind of burning. So you got to go down, cool it off. It's amazing out there on the site. You see how steep the gully is. The terrain is rugged. It's not gently sloping hills. The thing slid on down. This object went back there, and the whole thing took off sometime later. Meanwhile, lots of information was collected, which we had never seen. And Dale Levitt pointed out he never got any feedback on the stuff that he sent in. He sent in samples of the liquid, samples of the metal. Nobody knows what happened to it, where it went, and what the results were. And that's what I think happened here. And I think the government the guys on the inside at the hub were very much concerned about what this meant. In the first place, people were scared all to pieces. Monster that conjures up all kinds of things. And in the second place, what does this mean? Are these guys here to destroy us? Were they getting ready to attack? The imagination plays tricks. And if you talk about a 12-foot high monster, that is scary.
Well, we'll see what the investigation has come up with. Frank Fashino, what he came up with.
Great.
Yeah, it's a great documentary with interview with Richard Dolan,
Oh, nice.
and he painstakingly went through so many reports from different sources, and then plotted them on maps, and he came up with a theory of what happened that night.
Good. I can't wait to hear it.
Let him tell it. Yeah.
Well, what I found out, Richard, by researching everything of what happened at September 12th, there was approximately 21 hours of UFO sightings throughout the United States. This incident here in Florida actually was the beginning of everything that went down that night. And these fellas were scrambled after UFOs. They were zapped. They vanished. These UFOs that were involved in this confrontation with Jones and Del Curto, I actually traced them going up the eastern seaboard and across the central part of the United States, up the mid-Atlantic portion, and these UFOs actually flew into the Flatwoods area. About the same time as this one from the south flew up, and it was damaged. These guys hit it. It was definitely damaged. It was making repeated landings throughout the United States. Now, it flew into the Braxton County area. About the same time, off the eastern seaboard, the mid-Atlantic portion of the United States, 3 UFOs came in, damaged one after another. They were all in flames. They were making repeated landings. They were seen by thousands of people. The first UFO came in, and it flew northwest. And I was able to trace it going down into the area of Oak Ridge.
Okay, I want to stop you right there. I just want to back up so
Right.
people understand. This is important. These objects you said appeared, and the impression that I got from you is that the U.S. military was ready or waiting for them. Is that accurate?
Oh, absolutely right.
And
That's
they,
a good observation.
Right. And
they were absolutely
they
ready for it.
appeared in the Atlantic Ocean off the U.S. coast, correct?
Yes, and
Right.
they were situated in the no-fly zone, the air defense identification zone of the Atlantic Ocean.
Can you identify approximately where they appear, like most closely off what coast, where they were?
What I did, remember I told you earlier, Richard, I worked with a couple Air Force guys and we worked in reverse.
Right.
When I had all the plotted points and timestamps of these UFOs, we connected these dots to 3 of them coming from the west and traced them all going back east.
Mm-hmm.
And they all intersected 90 miles off the coast of the United States, directly across from Washington, D.C.
Okay.
Directly across from Washington.
So in the east, in the Atlantic Ocean, but fairly close to DC.
Yeah, 90 miles off the coast.
That's where they appeared. U.S.
And an no-fly
jet fighters.
zone, and they each came in damaged. The first one flew southwest, and it flew over the United States, and it flew approximately 100 miles through the Oak Ridge National Laboratory no-fly zone.
You're muted again.
I'm so sorry. I was saying that one flew over Oak Ridge National Laboratory, and the second one was Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. So that's where they were going.
This is really interesting. I had never heard that there were, that this was going on at the same time.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. Wow.
And I couldn't find that stuff when I searched either. So I had to remember these interviews and this information, and I'm sure it's in his book as well, Fushino's book. So it looks like we shot them down, somehow.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. This whole one of my biggest questions in the back of my head was like, why did this thing crash?
Yeah.
Wow, very interesting.
And so he'll go through other things now as well. It is so crazy, so interesting. And then I'll show you what else I found and what happened in September 1952.
All right, nice.
Zone. Try doing that today.
No, right.
or
Well,
even back then.
unless
They
someone
penetrated the airspace where it wasn't supposed to be.
if someone is skeptical of this, I just want to point out one of the bits of research you undertook was to talk about how the fighter jets in 1952, I think you're talking about the F-8060 Sabre jet, the F-94C Starfire, and one of the Navy planes, the F-7 U-3 Cutlass, had computerized and rockets attached to them that I believe you are arguing were used against these objects. Is that accurate?
Oh, most definitely.
Right.
They were carrying folding fin aerial rockets. They were 2.75-inch rockets, and they had a 7.5-pound warhead.
Right.
And they had a maximum range of about 6,500 yards, an effective range of 3.5 miles. And basically, these three jets, the F-86D, the F-94C, and the Cutlass, they were all carrying these rockets. And these aircraft had computers on board. And for instance, the F-94C, which was the first model, that had 1,200 pounds of electronic equipment and an onboard computer. And basically what they would do, I talked to a guy who flew one of these things, and the pilots weren't too up on what they can actually do, but they could basically take their hands off of the steering stick, and they would put it on automatic, and the Starfire would actually follow the target. And it could be like a roller coaster if the UFO was moving very erratic, and it was just, these guys were along for the ride, and the computer would pick the precise point and fire the rockets.
That's pretty amazing, particularly for 1952. I don't think most people would be expecting that the military had that capability, but they did.
So that's crazy, huh? That our military had that capability, that computerized rockets and computers on board in 1952.
I know, right? Completely nuts.
And it must have surprised the UFOs as well, because obviously it has been a secret, war going on. And
yeah, shit. Maybe that's why our government is so secretive. They don't want the UFOs to know what we're doing.
Yes, well, that is an argument. Like Tom DeLonge says, that's what he got from the generals. That's what they said, is that they're trying to keep it secret from them. Although there's been many incursions with these being found in secure locations,
Yeah, I mean, look at I think I sent you an article earlier this week. I mean, our government is still struggling with orbs that are flying around our UFO bases.
Yeah. We'll get to that one. Exactly. So they really can't secure. So maybe when we shot these down, then they create, or they learn how to defend themselves against our missiles.
Yeah, they learned from Roswell.
Yeah.
They were like,
who knows what happened in Roswell too?
Never again.
But yeah, so we've been shooting these things down for a long time. Now, in this case, it wasn't successful, right? Because it did fly off eventually. They fixed it and it flew off.
That's amazing.
And it actually calculated the exact moment for the rockets to fire, and then it would salvo them.
And so these were being used actively against flying saucers invading U.S. airspace. This was the shoot them down policy that was in effect. And what you're saying, what your research indicates, is that this is exactly what happened on September 12th, 1952. In the case of,
would that be a surprise to the UFOs who were being shot at with bullets? And then all of a sudden, these aircraft look basically the same, except they're coming in and now they're carrying rockets.
Right. Exactly. So with that in mind,
I said this before once a long time ago in a lecture, and it would be like a bunch of kids in kindergarten. They all got look-alike little water pistols. And then all of a sudden the kids walk into class one day and they got a real gun.
Right.
The rockets are going to be a lot more effective than those bullets are. And what a surprise that would be to UFOs who, and Richard, they were basically playing cat and mouse with our aircraft over the years. They were just checking them out and testing to see how close they could come in, where the bullets would drop off, how fast they could go, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. And then bang, here basically overnight, here's all of these aircraft coming in with computers on board carrying rockets.
It's almost like a new milestone in the military confrontations with these unknown objects that took place in 1952. And as a result of that, there is obviously something going on where several of these were dropped off the coast of Washington, D.C. in September 1952. American jets were ready or waiting for them and attacked and engaged them and shot them and damaged them. And then these objects moved west across the United States and in different directions.
The interesting point, Richard, is we know Keogh did research back in the 40s and 50s about key government installations and atomic plants and Air Force bases where UFOs were seen over for years. Well, it was no coincidence that this first damaged object that came in was making a beeline, and it was gunning for Oak Ridge National Laboratory. The second one that came in a few minutes later went northwest, and it was targeting and going directly at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base.
Wow.
Do you think they were looking for the Roswell craft and the beings? Are they trying to get them back or something?
No, I don't.
And then Oak Ridge, well, that's where all the nukes. We had a lot of nuclear stuff in Oak Ridge, and this is the one that crashed. Well, not crashed,
Right.
landed.
Right. Yeah. No, I don't think it's related. Honestly,
Could be. Well, it could be just there's a lot of activity around here as well that they were going that way. So crazy, huh? That in 1952, that early on, we were shooting them down. An interesting thing. So I just Googled September 1952 nuke test.
Oh yeah, what'd you find? Oh, look at that.
USA detonates world's first thermonuclear weapon, the hydrogen bomb, on Eniwetok Atoll in the Pacific.
Wow.
Yeah, there it is.
We sure love our bombs.
Yes, they do. And, this is hydrogen, so it's not a joke anymore.
Right.
I mean, yes, atomic bombs are dangerous, but hydrogen bombs are, what is it, 1,000 times, I think this test was?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. So this new weapon was approximately 1,000 times more powerful than conventional nuclear devices.
Wow. That's crazy. Yeah, weird. So, I mean, we've said it over and over again on the show, but UFOs love nuclear energy.
They do, and it could be because also it makes us a threat. Then they're not, we're not just okay. I wouldn't say we're catching up, but we become a threat. Like
right.
Not many things can withstand a hydrogen weapon.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
Yeah, and when we tested them in space in the 60s, we've showed that one video where there was craft that was monitoring what we were doing in space as well.
Mm-hmm.
So there's obviously always been this cat and mouse game with UFOs. This incident looks like it was one of them where we shot them down, or one of them tried to, and they did a landing, they fixed the craft, and they did a rendezvous over, because all those crafts went back to Flatwoods, and they fixed it and they took off and went south, he says, out of the United States.
They put on their dresses and pop their collars and they get out of there.
Yeah, exactly. Put on their dresses. So, I mean, these are some of the pictures.
Yeah, this is great. I want to watch this in entirety.
They have some guitar music in the background.
Sweet.
Should I switch it out with one of our music?
Yeah, can you do that? Download this YouTube video and change music.
Well, I can layer. I can mute it.
Well, I was kidding. If that's something you really want to do, then go for it. But
well, unless you want to hear this,
I feel like it's fitting.
Okay.
I have changed my mind. I want you to put our own music over this. That's such a good. Look at that kid screaming. No,
Your door goes creak. You cannot speak.
you're muted, by the way.
What about this one?
Yeah, no, this is good.
Okay.
Wait, no, I changed my mind. Not this one.
Okay. What about?
There,
Wait.
yeah, no, this is.
You want
better.
this one?
Yeah,
All right.
yeah, yeah.
Dusty room full of clues unknown, where the whispers dance and the tapes are shown.
I'm gonna put this out on
Radio
social media.
crackles with tales untold, anomalies uncovered in a world so old. Mysteries hidden behind closed doors, a podcast that's got me wanting more. Tune in tonight, we're on the edge of time. Secrets unraveling in perfect rhyme. Anomalies in the static and the noise. Sparking wonder just like old school toys. Each episode's a spark in the dark. Uncovering secrets, leaving their mark. Anomalies in the static and the noise. Sparking wonder just like old school toys. Each episode's a spark in the dark. Uncovering secrets, leaving their mark. Old tapes spin tales from another age with voices that leap off the page. A journey through the echoes of the past. Anomaly secrets, leaving their mark so old. Through the needles scratch and the vinyls hiss, the podcast uncovers every hidden twist. Lost to time, but now we're drawing near. Anomalies beckon, lending an ear. Anomalies in the static and the noise. Sparking wonder just like old school toys. Each episode's a spark in the dark. Uncovering secrets, leaving their mark.
Oh man, I want to sit in that chair.
I know. Yeah, good music. Perfectly timed.
Yeah, that was great.
I saw the Braxton County Monster. Look, they got toys. I want one of those.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like we're just gonna accumulate just a bunch of UFO stuff as we continue to make the podcast.
Yeah, instead of books.
Yeah.
That is so funny. This guy here. I guess they're trying to show how tall it was.
Yeah, I mean, good Lord, that really would be terrifying to see that.
Yeah, especially with that smell. And they said there was that whiny noise from like the craft from the engine. So I say not a hoax. Too much going on. Too much evidence and radar and Air Force things. And it wasn't just an isolated incident in Flatwoods. It was part of a much bigger incident going on.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, if this was a case of one person seeing this without any proof, that'd be something else. But the fact that so many people saw this and so many people interacted, I mean, small. I can't get that picture.
Yeah, that's a great one.
Yeah, that kid screaming on the right. It's so funny to me.
It's like a Halloween thing.
It really is. Yeah, no, I don't think this is a hoax. I think they saw something pretty significant.
Yeah, I mean,
and based on these drawings, I don't think it was a Klans member.
It does look like it. Yeah, they're in West Virginia too.
Yeah.
Come on, guys. It was just a Klans meeting. What's wrong with you?
If it had been a Klans meeting, they'd be happy to report that. But instead, no, that drawing that all 5 people drew, that's an owl.
Yeah,
Doesn't it look like an owl?
Totally looks like an owl.
Oh,
What's
yeah,
wrong with them?
completely.
Like people that live in West Virginia in the woods wouldn't know what a friggin' owl looks like.
Yeah, exactly.
It's so ridiculous. They basically, I mean, they live off nature. They're in nature all the time. Pretty
So
insulting.
hold on, I'm going to look this up to make sure I'm not being a complete idiot when I say this, because I'm pretty sure. So West Virginia has a huge. What am I trying to say?
Well, there's mining there.
No, it's a huge radar dish, but that's not the right thing. How do I?
Oh yeah, radar observatory.
Yeah, they've
They
got the
do have
observatory
one.
there, and that's a big reason as to why I want to go see that, because I think it's super cool.
Yeah, and no radio signals are allowed within, I don't
Yeah.
know, a huge radius in that within that. So no cell towers, no
Exactly.
satellites can go over it. It's just I don't know. It's the radio silent. Let's say that.
Yeah. I don't know. I think that's super cool.
Good job. I wonder if that's close to Flatwoods.
It's West Virginia.
West
So same state,
Virginia.
it counts. It's close.
Yeah, because West Virginia is not that big, right?
No, it's pretty big.
Radio observatory. There it is.
That's the one. The observatory. That's the word I was looking for.
Green Bank Observatory.
I believe that is the largest in the United States. I could be wrong.
Green Bank Observatory is right there.
Right in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. Yelp. They give it a 5 out of 6. They don't let me have a cell phone coverage.
0 out of 5 stars.
Yeah. I'm trying to see if it shows.
There's Richmond. Richmond, north of Richmond.
Yeah, West Virginia.
Yeah, you're
So
right. It's really close to DC. I didn't realize it was that close.
Yeah. Columbus, Ohio, Knoxville.
See, I that's the thing, is I've been all over the western part of the country. I have not been to very much of the eastern part of the country.
Same. I mean, Northeast. I've been a lot in the Northeast, but not much else.
I've been to Philadelphia. I've taken a train through New York, and I've been to Boston, but I haven't been. I think that's it in terms of the East Coast. And by East Coast, I mean east side of the country. But I would love to go check this out.
Yeah, and
I bet
go to
it's
Flatwoods too.
Yeah, no, West Virginia has some really cool scenery. I'd love to go check out West Virginia.
There's a cool story about West Virginia too, because it was all Virginia, right? And then they decided to become their own state because they saw themselves as different.
I am not gonna even
something like that.
I'm not even gonna hazard a guess as to why it's West Virginia.
The reason why I know is because I remember during COVID, there was a movement to create a new California, and they based it on the
Oh, really?
Yeah, the
On
same
West
way
Virginia story?
that yeah, exactly.
No kidding. Yeah, California was man, what a time COVID was. We're still talking about it. It should have been nothing, but it turned into this huge story that is going to forever change. Well, it forever changed the world and how we see our government. This is a great meme. I love this.
And that's why we have Trump, by the way. It's mostly because of COVID. Seriously.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah, that's exactly why Trump got elected, because people, it wasn't because of COVID, but COVID was a great, and the reaction to COVID was, a symptom. It's what people were sick of.
Absolutely. They couldn't have these people in again who just mandating things, closing down businesses, treating us like we're the enemy.
Yeah.
So yeah, but they won't look in the mirror and think about that.
Yeah, and when Timmy from down the street crashes his tricycle and has to go to the hospital, and they call it COVID, people kind of saw through that pretty quickly.
Exactly. And the tests and the constant testing, and didn't matter how minuscule it was, because those tests, right, they were proven that if you just turn up the sensitivity, it'll find whatever you want.
Well, yeah, and then when you look deeper and you see that hospitals got more money when they, when they reported more COVID, it's a whole thing.
It was so bad. And I mean and the COVID protocols, and then the deaths went up because of that, and just fed into the hysteria. Such a terrible time. Anyway, well, the UFO congressional hearings, we had more last week.
Yeah, it was pretty wild. They got in front of Congress and did their whole thing.
Yeah, all over again, but this time it was Tim Gallaudet, Luis Elizondo, and Michael Schellenberger and Michael Gold. So,
Didn't Gold, he gave the Vulcan symbol. This is a Star Trek thing for, when you put your, I'm doing it right now, you put your forefinger in your middle
yeah.
Yeah.
I can't do that easily.
Oh, really? Oh, no.
Not too easily, no.
He did that. You have to raise your right hand.
Yeah. He did that. What a dork.
Yeah, no, he's a total dork.
So here's Tim Gallaudet is on this meme. It goes, "I was told it was not UFOs." And then to Luis Elizondo, I can tell you later. And Schellenberger, I literally don't know. He did say that. And Gold, give NASA more money.
Yeah, a lot of people are starting to turn on Elizondo, and I'm kind of in that boat too, where he goes, "Oh, I can tell you the truth. You just have to buy my book, buy my new book, and I'll tell you the truth."
It's in my book. Yeah, it's in my book. It's all in my book. Everything I want to talk about, it's all in my book.
Yeah, and I think people are kind of tired of that.
Yeah. Oh, this is interesting here. See that B1 down here? That means it's been blocked for national security reasons.
Yeah, weird. I mean, it's just what a bizarre way to present it, but yeah.
All right, so here's Elizondo. It's a quick 1-minute clip from the meeting, from the congressional hearings.
When it comes to Blue Force Technologies, I would not be able to discuss.
Okay. Are you read into secret UAP crash retrieval programs?
We would have to have a conversation in a closed session, ma'am. I signed documentation 3 years ago that restricts my ability to discuss specifically crash retrievals. I submitted for my book through the DOPSR process, which took a year for it to be reviewed. And what is in the book is what I was told I'm allowed to talk about.
Has the government conducted secret UAP crash retrieval programs? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. Were they designed to identify and reverse engineer alien craft? Yes or no?
Yes.
Does the U.S. government have any reverse? Okay, we already answered that question about retrieval programs. Do any U.S. contractors have the same?
I would prefer to address in a closed session, ma'am.
Okay. In your book, you mentioned government and
protecting the contractors. Why don't they invite the contractors? That's what I don't get. Invite Raytheon, Lockheed Martin, General Dynamics, those guys. Invite those guys in. Invite those CEOs or whoever.
Oh, they're not allowed to talk about it
because it's proprietary, even though we gave them that.
Yeah.
Even though the government gave them that stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, we'll see. People are just sick of this.
Employees who've been injured by UAPs, placed on leave, and receiving government compensation for their injuries. Is that correct?
That is correct.
How can the government deny we have recovered craft if they're paying people because they've been injured by recovered craft?
Ma'am, that's a great question. That's why I think we're here again, because I've seen the documentation by the U.S. government for several of these individuals who have sustained injuries as a result of a UAP incident.
It's a crazy idea, right? The hypocrisy and the logic. Okay.
So that, I think he's talking about the Rendlesham Forest case, because that guy who got injured in Rendlesham Forest actually got paid, but the court told the VA to pay him for his injuries.
Yeah, I mean, what a bizarre. Yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. I mean, if that means it's true, then what really happened to him is true, right? And then all of it's true.
Right, exactly. And especially that a court of law did that, but no one covers it.
Of course not.
That should be. This is a funny recap. This is great.
This is good stuff.
All right, I watched the entire 2-hour congressional UFO hearing, so you don't have to. I'm going to break down everything that happened. Starting off with a bang, as 2 of the witnesses decided to do the Pledge of Allegiance instead of raising their right hand. I mean, he's even laughing about it. First up on the mic was Tim Gallaudet, and I have so many problems with what this man said, I don't even know where to start. He told the story about how he's missing emails from a UFO incident, but he doesn't realize that nobody cares. We don't want to hear about Microsoft Outlook, okay? We want pictures and videos of alien spacecraft to respectfully get off the stand. He also claimed that the best evidence of a USO that we have was from sonar radar data from the 1980s. Like, what are we doing here? Then we had the pleasure to listen to Lou. I can't disclose that, Elizondo. Look, Lou, I like you, man, so I'm not going to go too hard here, but the reality is that we need more evidence from you, bro. I get it. You signed a document saying you can't talk about the crash retrieval program, so bring something else. He also casually said that the U.S. has alien bodies, but unfortunately, we'll probably never know if this is true or not because it happened before his lifetime. Then came Mr. Schellenberger, who accused the government of hiding critical UFO evidence, as if none of us have ever done that. Big nothing burger from this guy. When they asked him what he thinks these UFOs are, he's like, I don't know, which I actually respect. And then finally, we had NASA hype man Michael Gold. I honestly do not know why this guy was even there. He publicly stated that he thinks that these UFOs are either experimental aircraft or drones. Like what? In conclusion, when all four of them were asked what they think UAP are, here's what each one said. Strong evidence they are non-human. Yeah, what he said, we don't know. We don't know, but we need to find out.
Sad. It's not kind of sad.
It's a really good summary. You know, it's so frustrating because if in terms of Elizondo, if you are quote unquote a whistleblower, but you're still getting approval from the people in power,
right?
You're not a whistleblower at all.
No. If you care about retaining your clearances and retaining access to that information, you're not a whistleblower. You're not.
Yeah,
You're just
exactly.
towing the line. You're saying what's approved to be said, which anyone can do that from within the government. Oh, am I approved to say this? Yes, you're approved.
Yeah, I mean, just nutso stuff.
Yeah, but and then this was released, this Immaculate Constellation report. It was released, but it was an anonymous source. Of course, so I guess that might be a whistleblower because he's anonymous, but he has not come forward, whoever wrote this. And it does go through, it is an amazing document, goes through a lot. The conclusion is really strong. But who wrote this? You know?
Yeah, I'm curious about that myself.
Yeah, and there are some interesting things here. You know, apparently this person accessed these documents on our classified systems, calling it Immaculate Constellation, and it's in the executive branch, right? The White House, which is also interesting because Elizondo was an SAP guy for the White House, and then no, it was a program within the DoD called the Immaculate Constellation, which was a database of everything: pictures, interviews, witnesses, radar data. You know, everything was just put into this one system or this one file. Yeah.
Wow.
They talk about some things that happened. They're going through what the different. These are all different sensors, by the way. So like imagery intelligence, cuboid formation. Oh, here it is. I think we saw this one. On USG networks, there exists daytime FMV and daytime FLIR footage of a formation of 12 metallic orbs skimming the ocean surface at high speed before dispersing in multiple directions. This is on. So this was submitted to Congress. So it's in the official record. The rapid and agile maneuvering of the metallic orbs were incompatible with known aerospace vehicles and were between 3 to 6 meters, not too big, in diameter. In the opening segment of this footage, the 12 metallic orbs flew in a tight cuboid formation. The metallic orbs were in 3 vertical square formations of 4 orbs each, arranged in a 3-pronged configuration, creating the illusion of a cube shape at distance. All the orbs were white hot against the black cold ocean in the FLIR footage, and each sphere created a faint atmospheric distortion both around itself and as a heat shimmer contrail. The metallic orbs moved in this cube formation over the ocean for some time before rapidly breaking formation as pairs. The sensor platform lost track of most of the metallic orbs as they ascended in altitude and accelerated in speed, but maintained observation on a pair of metallic orbs, continuing the original trajectory of the larger formation.
Wow.
Yeah, so they're seeing this on U.S. government networks.
Yeah, that's always a good thing.
So this is CENTCOM. So CENTCOM, I think in the Middle East, right? CENTCOM? Or
no idea.
Yeah. On USG networks, there exists FLIR footage of a small, medium, oval UFO UAP flying at high speed and low to the surface, The footage begins as routine surveillance of a sensitive coastal facility when the oval UAP rapidly comes into frame as it flies above coastal facilities. The oval UAP then makes a rapid turn towards the ocean where it is tracked by the collection platform. The oval UAP is tracked flying low over the open ocean at high speeds before the track is lost. So basically, but they're not going to release any of this stuff because it shows methods, sources, and methods.
Yeah.
So we won't see this stuff because then it tells our adversaries, whoa, they can see this from I don't know where, using what technology, and it's the excuse that they can use, and it's the excuse they'll use to cover up, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, and this is what people in the UFO believer crowd are saying. I mean, they you're exactly right. I mean, they can use they can use this as an excuse not to release anything.
Right. But for how long? I mean, at some point technology becomes obsolete. So why can't they show us stuff, I don't know, from the 60s and the 70s, like that one from the 60s that shows the warhead? Remember the test out of I think Andrews Air Force Base, where that disc thing comes up to an ICBM that we sent, shoots 3 lasers at it, right? Goes away and then the missile goes tumbling. Stuff like that. I mean, the cameras they used in the 60s, it's not going to be secret. No one's going to say like, oh, they're using that.
Right.
So while the excuse is valid and we can all agree with it, at some point they can't always use that excuse. What's this one? Oh yeah, look at this one. Indopacom, large disc using clouds as concealment.
Hey, what? God, what's Nope? What a great movie.
Nope. Yeah. Yes. Exactly. So it kind of uses. Oh, I can't zoom in. So on USG networks, there exists OPIR footage of a large saucer-shaped UAP emerging from within a dense cloud formation. The saucer registered black hot against white cold, with atmospheric disturbances caused by the saucer-shaped UAP visible. The saucer was between 200 to 400 meters in circumference and displayed symmetrical concavities on the upper surface. The saucer-shaped UAP emerges at a shallow angle, traveling upwards towards the outer atmosphere. After breaking above the cloud cover, the saucer-shaped UAP suddenly reverses its direction, descending partially back into the cloud cover, then accelerating rapidly out of frame and partially obscured by the cloud tops, not good tops. This behavior, how can we always catch editing? Don't these guys have editing software?
Right.
This behavior was evasive in nature and implied that the saucer-shaped UAP had become aware that it was under observation by a space-based collection platform.
That's an owl. They're describing an owl.
Yeah, man, these owls, I hear they're 400 meters up in the atmosphere, and then when they descend down, they shrink.
Yep.
Kind of.
And they got bright red eyes.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. I would love to see one of those. I've only heard of them. Jellyfish.
Yeah, I was just looking at that. Northcom jellyfish UAP crosses U.S. Mexico border, which is weird. We've talked about these before.
Yeah.
All right. So on USG networks, there exists FLIR footage of an irregularly shaped UAP flying across the southern border. The UAP appeared on FLIR to be modeled irregularly with hot, cold emissions and approximated a jellyfish or floating brain. Oh boy, I don't like jellyfish.
Doesn't the Flatwoods Monster kind of looks like a jellyfish, or at least okay, it doesn't look like a jellyfish, but I mean, like something's within armor.
See it, yeah. So, so a jellyfish or a floating brain with hanging appendages in appearance. The UAP flew against the wind with no visible means of propulsion, maintained an unnatural rigidity in its movements and flight, and maintained comparatively low altitude to geographic features. In appearance and behavior, footage of the UAP violating the airspace of the southern border resembled the same class of UAPs observed near the DoD facilities in Iraq and Afghanistan. Yeah, we've
That
played
one,
those.
yeah.
We've played those clips on the show before.
Yep.
There exists at least one compilation video of this class of UAP sourced from the DoD Force Protection Assets and Theater ISR, which uses this footage as a point of comparison. Cool stuff.
Yeah, where's that
Also
F-22 one?
terrifying.
Very terrifying. That they can do whatever they want.
Yep.
Unless we nuke them.
I guess.
Or I guess they can just disappear.
Yeah.
So this is human intelligence. Where's the one with the F-22? Common sets observed, sphere or orb, triangle. They go through that. Did I skip it? The F-22 one?
I don't know. I didn't see it.
Reproduction vehicle, RV. Is he like alien reproduction vehicle?
Good question.
Intelligence. Oh no. Imagery. Weird. I thought that was in here. So yeah, they go through that. They go through all the details in that report, and the conclusion is pretty strong. Oh, here it is. It's probably in here. Examples of human metallic orbs intercept F-22s.
There it is.
Yep, this is a good one.
While performing a routine airspace surveillance and control mission in the Eastern Air Defense Sector, an F-22 fighter observed multiple UAP contacts at mission altitude. Moving to intercept, the F-22 pilot noted multiple metallic orbs, slightly smaller than a sedan. Oh, that's still pretty big. Hovering in place. Upon vectoring towards the UAPs, a smaller formation of metallic orbs accelerated at rapid speed towards the UFO. Let me go. Upon vectoring towards the UAPs, a smaller formation of the metallic orbs accelerated at rapid pace towards the F-22, which was unable to establish radar locks on the presumed hostile UAPs. The F-22 broke trajectory and attempted to evade, but was intercepted and boxed in by approximately 3 to 6 UAPs. One UAP maneuvered in proximity more than 12 meters to the area directly starboard of the cockpit. That's to the right.
Yep.
There, the UAP established a rigid spatial relationship with the F-22, maintaining its exact position and orientation parallel with the F-22 cockpit, despite multiple evasive roll maneuvers. Wow. Surrounded by the presumed hostile UAPs, the F-22 was forced out of the mission area under escort of the UAP formation.
Under escort, so they escort the F-22 out.
They were like, "Hey, stop screwing around. Get out of here. We'll take you out of here."
And this is why they want to disclose this stuff, right? Because if the people really knew that there's a secret war going on and that we're not winning it.
Yeah, exactly.
And I guess they kind of are, because we keep advancing and they have not stopped the advancements of weapons. And, the government's still doing what it wants around the world. It's not like these things are just a nuisance, and we're probably a nuisance to them as well.
Mm-hmm. In some way we can't fathom at this point.
Yeah. So I think the conclusion is very strong. Your signal intelligence, even so, they go through like all of the evidence we have. It's not just witnesses, but these things are on multiple sensor platforms, observed by our systems and archived and studied. The conclusion is pretty strong. You want to take it?
No, you go ahead.
So they conclude the official disclosure of the existence of non-human intelligences, NHIs, and their presence on Earth is a pivotal moment in human history. The nature of this information is of such incomparable relevance to the public good that it demands to be shared. Some may object and say that disclosure at this time possesses too many risks. To them, it must be said that we will never be able to predict how individuals, families, communities, and nations will react to revelations of such magnitude. Moving forward, We must guard against the lure of authoritarian solutions justified by expediency and appeals to national security. The good in humanity will always triumph through time, and it is in moments of crisis that our capacities for achieving the extraordinary are discovered. Be not afraid.
Yeah, that is a really strong finish.
Yeah, and it's true on so many levels. Again, we don't care. Fine, all right, they're not going to show us videos. I guess if they do come out and say that there are NHIs, forget extraterrestrials, whatever, just say NHI, right?
Mm-hmm.
They can't come and show us evidence because then it'll show their capabilities. But they can show us evidence from who knows how long ago.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be like the Nimitz incident or whatever they're seeing now.
Yeah. Wow. Huh. Well, this is a really cool document. And as always, everything that we talk about on the show, everything that we share, you can find it in the show notes.
Absolutely. Think Tank found this. Oak Shannon's 1985 working group notes and today's whistleblower report mentioned the same document. So in section 5 of that document we saw, there was this number here, G00 G/00/162-78. So they found on Oak Shannon, he had on his notes the same exact number.
Whoa.
Yeah, reissue. And then he has this. It goes published 3 February 1978. Look for this. It's not crazy. And Oak Shannon, it was probably from the 90s when they got that.
Yeah. Very interesting.
Yeah. So, I mean, you dig deep enough, you're going to find something, or you're going to love this. You dig deep enough, you're going to find something, right? And it's out there for the public to, make their decision up.
Yeah.
But we just don't have the really hard evidence. It's, unfortunately. So you're gonna love this. So apparently there was a missing 12th page of the Immaculate Constellation docs. Guess who the page is from? Wait.
Oh no.
Yes. Jeremy Kenyon Lockyer Corbell.
His middle name is Kenyon Lockyer?
Yeah. I think I asked him once online, and he took the bait because he loves, his ego. I asked, where Kenyon and Lockyer come from. He goes, "Oh, now that you ask," and he just went through a really long.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Post of how he got those names and his name.
Did he threaten to jujitsu you at the same time? No,
he was too happy. So I thought it was Schellenberger who got that in that document, and it's Schellenberger who brought in the Immaculate Constellation document. So I have no idea where he's coming in now with this document here, and I could be wrong, but I remember Schellenberger was the one who took the pictures of it and put it online. He's the one who brought in the Immaculate Constellation information anyway. So, but here he's just basically saying who he is. He goes, the following document is submitted on behalf of a courageous government whistleblower who has presented evidence on the UAP issue to the appropriate committees of the United States Congress. This report includes highly credible information, not only affirming the existence of unidentified anomalous phenomena, but also exposing a decades-long conspiracy to deceive the American people and their elected. It sounds like he wrote that document. Representatives from uncovering the truth about the durational UAP presence on planet Earth. Wait, can we find some patterns here? Let's see how he concludes it. All right, so he goes here. Naturally, one might ask, why not step forward directly? Why does the author remain unseen before the American public? The answer to this is nearly as unsettling as the revelations asserted within this report. In today's America, speaking truth has become a perilous endeavor. Citizens and journalists now face the grim reality of potentially lethal retaliation from rogue government factions. Whistleblowers and the journalists who support them are no longer assured freedom, safety, or prosperity in the United States of America. I think he's doing pretty well for himself. This fact should disturb every American at their core. We are witnessing the erosion of free expression under the guise of national security, a slippery descent into authoritarian censorship. So either he was inspired by the conclusion of that document, or he kind of wrote it.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
Authoritarian censorship is in there, right?
Mhm.
I mean, well, man, we just want the evidence, guys.
Yeah, we really do. We're tired of speculating.
Yeah,
it sucks.
It does suck.
You know, and I hate the whole they're being secretive to protect us logic. I hate that. That's so stupid.
Oh yeah, Kirkpatrick says all the time. That's what you pay us for.
Yeah,
We pay you to keep
Corbell's-
you.
No, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I would say, you guys pay us to keep you ignorant. No, that's not what we pay you for. Yes, you can protect us, but not to keep us ignorant.
Yeah.
So Jeremy Reese said this.
Jeremy Corbell, our favorite, and don't you dare say this to his face, or he will jujitsu you.
Yes, he will.
So Jeremy Reese, he says Jeremy Corbell is a CIA plant, and this is all a distraction. And honestly, it would not surprise me one bit. Although I think Corbell is too much of a dork to truly be a CIA plant.
Yeah. What? So I guess this is him coming in. He's leading George. I don't know who he's talking to. He's making way for George.
Everyone.
Making way for George. Clear the way, everyone. George Knapp coming through. He has done a lot to bring.
Yeah, I'll never forget. I know we always rag on Corbell, but I'll never forget that the premiere of his movie that you and I went to.
Oh God!
Just what a shit show that turned out to be.
It was. I mean, we went there. We were expecting a lot. It was for the Bob Lazar one. We waited in line. It was really cool. The theater was really cool. And the documentary was flashy, right, and polished, but
yeah, and like it was a whole event. I mean, like they had like it felt like a Hollywood premiere. There was press everywhere. Pictures going.
Yep. Lazar was there. Knapp was there. There's a bunch of celebrities were there, and I remember there was supposed to be like questions.
Yeah, the Q&A lasted about 3 questions.
Corbell promised that you can send your questions through Twitter, X, and it was time for that. After the show, he had Lazar on the stage. He was there. He pulls out his phone. He literally looks at the questions and then puts it away. He goes, "All right, we're not doing that."
You're not summing it up properly, and this is why I always make this joke. He did threaten to jujitsu.
Oh yeah, he did
during the Q&A. He said he would do that.
He did say that.
Yeah.
So that didn't happen. And then when we left, I remember people in the parking lot, they were saying, "Hey, what do you guys think of it?" We're like, we've seen that. They were disappointed too, right?
That's so funny. I've got a very vivid memory. We were walking back to the car, and of course everyone's going, and someone asked, what'd you guys think of that? And I tried to put a really diplomatic. I was like, it was fine. And they just go, "It sucked."
Yeah, it sucked. We saw all those interviews. They're all online already.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was really just a rehashing and the polishing of everything that's out there.
Yeah, I mean, the whole documentary was to prove that Bob Lazar is not a liar, which is, a wild, just a very well-trodden path.
Yeah.
God, it was really fun though. I had a great time. Of course.
I love those events.
I still have good memories of that. But yeah, what a terrible documentary that turned out to be.
I mean, I didn't know of him before. I was like, "Oh wow, a Bob Lazar documentary. Let's go watch it."
Yeah, I think I had seen because Corbell did the one about Skinwalker Ranch, and
that was a good one.
I mean, that's such a good, regardless of what Corbell is, that was such a great documentary.
Agreed. That's one of the best documentaries out there, and I didn't know about that documentary until after the Bob Lazar one. I went back and I watched it, Skinwalker.
Yeah,
and it's a really, really good one. He did a good job with that.
Yeah.
So it's Kirkpatrick. Dean Johnson reached out to him. Douglas D. Johnson, sorry. He asked me about Immaculate Constellation. Because apparently it was sanctioned by the State Department. At least that's what the document said. So what does he say? He goes, FYI, the attached document was entered into the hearing record by Representative Nancy Mace during today's hearing, shortly after the panel members received it from Michael Schellenberger. Okay, so Schellenberger did it. Note the curious claim in the first paragraph, quote, this public version of the author's report was reviewed and approved for public release by the Department of State Bureau of Global Public Affairs. How does that work? If you choose to make any comments after reviewing this document, I'll regard them as on the record. So Kirkpatrick says, not much new in the way of accusations. None the alleged records were presented, and it sounds a lot like they are mistaking pilot reporting for human intelligence. As for having it reviewed for public release by State Department, that should be a major red flag. Anything submitted to an organization for public release has a stamp on it. This one doesn't, for one. Secondly, if anything, State Department does not review for public release other departments' information. That's just made up. The transcripts of DoD leadership in Congress is particularly entertaining. If such things existed in the way he describes, he certainly wouldn't have access to them through his lawful duties. The only transcripts we had were public record transcripts from hearings. Unfortunately, a number of people upload social media video to our classified systems to talk about. There's a UAP enthusiast group on the classified system. It would not surprise me if he was referring to that. Anything valid and real would be in Arrow's database, which may also be what he's referring to. Sean. Oh my God, you're such a party pooper.
Yeah, no kidding. No
hey,
kidding.
He might be right, but I will bet that he's not.
Well, you know, he's doing his job, which is to lie to the public.
Absolutely. Even though he's retired and has nothing to do with it anymore, they ask, and why not?
Yeah, why not?
And you know, at the same time, look what happened. Arrow released a new report.
Department of Defense releases the annual report on unidentified anomalous phenomenon.
Yeah, guess what's in there?
Yeah, I want to read this whole thing. Oh, this isn't too long. The All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office is leading the DoD's efforts in coordination with the ODNI and other government agencies to document, analyze, and when possible resolve UAP reports using a rigorous scientific framework and a data-driven approach.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing is UAPs are so, like against everything that we know to be true, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of the whole point. This year's UAP report covers UAP reports from May 1, 2023 to June 1, 2024, as well as any UAP report from the previous time periods that were not included in this earlier report. Arrow received 757 UAP reports during this period. 485 of these reports featured UAP incidents that occurred during the report. We don't have to go through this whole thing.
Yeah, you're right. But okay, so it's there for people to download. There's nothing crazy in it.
Yeah.
He was interviewed, and there is a quote from him, at least. It's a bit different than Kirkpatrick, we can see. At least his demeanor is a bit different. I don't know if his conclusions are going to be different.
No, go ahead.
Okay, so there are interesting cases that this is the head of Arrow right now, that with my physics and engineering background and time in the intelligence community, I do not understand, and I don't know anybody else who understands, Kozlowski told reporters. His team is now gathering information from eyewitnesses, video footage, and other data sources to make sense of the incidents, which he suggested occurred pretty recently and repeatedly in the last year and a half. Until we get the information approved for release, I'd rather not say where those sightings were, but they're definitely interesting sightings. So he's saying there are anomalous ones that he can't explain.
And of course, I'd love to see, what cannot be explained, but I suppose we just have to be patient. At the end of the day, I mean, Arrow is a government group, and it takes time to analyze these things, I suppose.
I wonder if there ever will say anything, especially with this system they have, the Gremlin system.
Yeah, what a terrible name for a.
I know. It's like they know what they're chasing. Gremlins.
Yeah, exactly.
Green.
It's currently deployed. We'd rather not say exactly where it is because we want it to be an unbiased test and don't want to invite folks to come and do flyovers and test the system. That's a really good, that's actually, I agree with this.
Yeah, I agree too.
We chose that specific location because of the environment. We expect there to be a lot of variety in the types of things that we are going to see. And there have been UAP reports in that general area.
All right.
Kozlowski told Defense Scoop. Right now, his team of experts recognize that they have, in quotes, this geographic bias where we are getting reports near the national security sites, but we also have a bias from pilots and other security personnel. So they need to build a baseline for reference. Huh. Yeah, no,
All right.
I agree with this. This is all good stuff.
Yeah, and I hope they actually study these things and not like say, oh, this is anomalous, let's send it up somewhere else, and just say, hey, we can't release it because what are they using? Because of law enforcement. So if they're
Right.
studying it and it's under a law enforcement clause, then they can withhold it from declassification.
Where do you think this location is?
I don't know. He said the environment. So and then he mentioned that they don't want it near bases because there's a bias there.
Mhm.
So I don't know. Could it be that West Virginia observatory?
Yeah, I was thinking that, or it's near Skinwalker Ranch.
Oh yeah,
'Cause they
said
have plenty of
yeah,
weird stuff going on over there.
that'll be a good place. Yeah, he said that's reported. Things are reported there. So we'll see what comes out of that.
Yeah. I hope we actually get to see the results, but I doubt it.
Yeah, it just seems they always keep saying the same thing.
It's just the
No
planet Venus.
verifiable proof.
Everybody go home. Venus swooped down and landed on Earth, and then went back up in the sky.
It wouldn't surprise me. Then everyone would be like, see, I told you it's nothing.
Yeah.
So if it really is nothing, this is from the blackvault.com. Navy blocks release of UAP photos amid Capitol Hill hearing on government secrecy. Yeah, I mean, they're not. So according to the response letter, 78 documents were located following a search conducted by the Deputy Chief of Naval Operations for Information Warfare. Quote, after the completion of the search, reads the letter, it was determined that these documents are exempt in their entirety from disclosure under FOIA 5 USC 552, which is B1, in accordance with the UAP security. So B1 is the exemption of national security.
Right.
Basically, the exemption covers information properly and currently classified in the interest of national defense or foreign policy. Oh man! So where is it? Here's the blacked out version.
Oh Jesus Christ!
I can't even zoom in. Wait, what? I want to see what it says. It says intelligence certifications. What? Anyway, it's ridiculous.
Wow. Just unbelievable.
Yeah, how are we going to get to the truth with this? How? It's always been this war. It's the same thing we've always been dealing with.
Yep. Man, every single time.
Yeah, and then we have articles like this that come out and say that there are crash retrievals, and here are what our sources are telling us. Here are the offices within the government that are doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Again, no evidence. I just, when you get to our level of, where we are in the research, and yes, we all know this stuff. And yes, is it worth repeating? Yes, because there's always new people coming in and researching, but for us to really get to the end of the road here, it's going to need, like Burchett said, and many of the people in Congress that are now realizing, it's going to need executive action. It's going to need someone to just announce it.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
And maybe Trump's that guy.
Oh, we already had him in the White House for 4 years, and I didn't announce shit.
Well, let's hope this time is different. It kind of is looking just, with RFK in there, right? And Tulsi Gabbard as head of DNI. I mean, she'll be DNI. And she said she wants to disclose this.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I really hope, he does what he was claiming to do the first time around, draining the swamp and getting rid of all these institutions that serve no purpose other than to drain money from the U.S. people. But it certainly seems that way, that he's doing it.
Yeah, it looks like it's. I mean, who knows if any of these people will get appointed by the Senate or approved by the Senate.
Yeah,
Now,
we'll see.
Do they ever block people? Have they blocked people before?
Truthfully, I have no idea.
I mean, I know it's a circus. They'll sit there and scream at these people because of their policies or ideologies, and they always approve them anyway.
Yep.
So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. So anyway, good article. It's a long one. It goes through all the information that's open source, that's out there, and from his own sources about crash retrievals, and that's been going on since the 1940s.
Fantastic.
Yeah, information probably our listeners and us know. Did you see this from one of Valet's books?
No, I didn't. Or maybe I did, but go ahead.
So Valet had a series of books that's just his diary, and that he's released a lot of them. So this guy's gone through one of them. This is volume 3, called Forbidden Science Volume 3. And there's a quote from the book. So lunch with Hal Puthoff. This is Valet writing. At the bay window near the Menlo Park train station, a quiet restaurant with the finest cuisine on the peninsula, frequented by wealthy matrons. All right. Then we left the restaurant, and once we were alone, Hal told me about an incident that bothered him. It concerned a friend of his, a physicist with Sandia. That's Sandia National Labs. This man is married to the niece of an older physicist who is said to have studied a crashed saucer in the 50s. Allegedly, he analyzed the propulsion system and duplicated an anti-gravity device. Now this man, the uncle, has been found hanged, his hands tied behind his back, his lab in shambles. The uncle was a careful man. All his plans were in a secret bank safe. In case of death, someone in the family would receive a letter with instructions to retrieve the documents. The letter did arrive, but the bankers said that government men bearing official identification had opened the box and confiscated the contents. Of course.
Yeah, this sounds par for the course.
Yep. Now Hal's friend is panicking. His house has been burglarized several times. He was studying an alleged energy machine, Johnson's motor, in quotes. All his models have been taken apart by visitors who made no effort to be discreet. Neighbors have seen the men driving away. The scientist is afraid the murderers of the uncle may threaten him, assuming the secret was passed on to him.
Yeah, and our government, just remember, our government does not take UFOs seriously.
Nope, not at all. It definitely takes energy seriously.
Yeah, wow. This is really terrifying. This is why I always joke about black SUVs showing up at my place where I work, or my outside my house.
Because it's part of a very famous song that you made for us.
Yeah, very famous.
Uncovering Anomalies Podcast, where the truth is told but never seems to last. For the truth changes day by day, so you have to find it. That's the only way. It's the UAP podcast with Adam and Topher. So don't let it pause and don't let it buffer. We're bringing you stories about conspiracies. We can't break the locks, but we can give you the keys.
Whoa!
Black van. Is that a man? Brilliant.
But now we've disappeared and might be burning. Tune in anyway you
So yeah, that's the song.
Very famous, worldwide. It hit the Hot 100 or whatever it's called.
Hey, I'm gonna start a Spotify UAP list. It could be just, it doesn't have to be like our radio show UAP, but songs about UAPs, and I bet you watch it just take off.
Actually, I had this really fun idea. I don't know how I could get it to work. So at my job, we all have playlists. So every day of the week is assigned to us, and we build a playlist on Spotify. That way,
nice.
Listen to the music they
Cool.
want. And I want to sneak in an AI, I want to write a song that is like generic where people won't notice it until they listen to the lyrics, but it has everyone's name like in
do
the
it.
song. But I
Yeah.
don't know how to get it on the Spotify.
I mean, I think when you sign up, maybe
There's got to be a way to upload songs to Spotify.
Your cousin would know for
Okay.
sure.
All right.
Yeah.
Because
He'll
I think
definitely
that'd be really funny if it's because it's I've got like CCR, I've got Johnny Cash, a bunch of bands that everyone knows these songs, but I think it'd be really funny to slip in an AI song.
Definitely.
Where that, it talks about what everyone does in the lab, and hopefully somebody hears it and goes, wait, what the hell?
Yeah, man. No, that'd be hilarious. So we're gonna have to go through this. This is Avi Loeb, Unit 8200, Israeli agent, saying, "Don't worry, guys. I got this." Where's this quote that really annoyed me? Look at this. He goes, "However, from a scientific perspective, even if 1 in a million objects in our sky is of extraterrestrial origin, its discovery will change the future of humanity. The U.S. government is not tasked to discover what lies outside the solar system. This is my day job as an astrophysicist."
Jesus.
Okay, Avi. Okay, all right. So you want to, yeah. So
Unbelievable.
we have to ask him what his conclusions are.
Of course. This is how these people stay on top.
Yeah, and has nothing to do with the Israeli government, of course. He's doing it. He's doing it all by himself. And then you sent me this, or it's a good transition, I think.
Definitely.
This was this is 3 years ago, I think, right? When it came out?
Yeah, I believe so. It was a while ago.
So the Israeli head, the former head of Israeli space, I think, said that Trump knows about UFOs.
Aliens.
Here's open.
President Trump knows about it. That's according to Israel's former space security chief. In an interview with an Israeli newspaper, he said the aliens have been waiting until today for humanity to develop and reach a stage where we will understand in general.
Oh, what's that? Did we lose it?
Yeah, it's frozen on my screen.
Oh, yeah, look at that.
You might have to refresh.
Okay. So wait, we were on, what minute is this?
15 seconds.
Okay.
We did not make it far.
No. Thanks, NSA.
Exist and President Trump knows about it. That's according to Israel's former space security chief. Right. In an interview with an Israeli newspaper, he said the aliens have been waiting until today for humanity to develop and reach a stage where we will understand in general what space and spaceships are. NBC News chief global correspondent Bill Neely explains this one.
Hi, Alison. Well, this is quite a story, and it comes from the man who headed Israel's space security program for nearly 30 years. Chaim Eshed is making the extraordinary claim that the United States and Israel have been in contact with a group of aliens for years.
And Israel. Yeah, you gotta love that. They always bring us into my ass. They're talking to aliens.
Yeah.
and with their barbaric actions, with what they do with their neighbors. Do you really think they want to talk to them?
Yeah, this feels more of like the the chosen people narrative. You know what I mean?
Yep. That's what's going on.
Immigrants, but extraterrestrials. He has called them the Galactic Federation of Aliens, and he says President Trump is aware of the existence of these aliens and had been on the verge of revealing their secrets, he claims, but was asked not to do so by the Federation in order to prevent what he calls mass hysteria. Well, the retired general says the US and Israel have kept it from the public because, quotes, humanity isn't ready and the aliens don't want to reveal themselves until humanity can evolve, he says, and understand what space really is. Well, the good news is that he claims an agreement has been reached between the US government and the aliens, a contract to do experiments here. There's also, he says, a secret underground base on Mars where there are American and alien representatives. Now, this former head of a branch of Israel's defense ministry is 87. He was very well respected, at least until now. And he said all this in an interview with an Israeli newspaper in Hebrew, but it's really taken off after parts of it were published in English by the Jerusalem Post today. He says he's come forward now in the hope that his news will be accepted as true. He notes that if he'd made these claims 5 years ago, he would have been hospitalized, but now he says, I've got nothing to lose. Well, so far, President Trump has not tweeted about this, though he did set up the Space Force as the fifth branch of the U.S. Armed Forces. Well, we did ask the White House, the Department of Defense, and Israeli officials to comment. So far, they have not responded to the NBC News request, and I wonder if they ever will.
Well, the Space Force was a good thing, you know. it brought this back under our umbrella instead of from the contractors, or a lot of it.
Yeah, definitely.
So that was a good thing. Whether or not this story is entirely true, I don't know. But it does bring up this whole lore around President Trump, and just in general, just time travel and Tesla and all of this.
There's now this is wild stuff.
Yeah, it is.
If it turns out to be true, listen, listener at home, we brought this here to you first.
Yeah, and it's definitely a crazy theory.
Actually, I think the first comment on this thread it not debunks, but it changed. Go to the very first comment. I think there's a correction that needs to be made. No, never mind. Keep going. I want to see. Maybe it might have got deleted. This is Reddit after all.
This one? This had way too many coincidences.
No. This isn't a top level comment. You got to go down. You got to go down to that first. Now keep going. I could have sworn they got some of the. All right, forget it. Let's.
Which one?
No.
So there's that movie too, right? That has Trump in there as well. Other than this book.
Yeah.
To Build a Wall.
The one where Kevin McAllister gets left home alone on Christmas. Oh, wait, no, he gets left in New York on Christmas.
Was it that one?
He's in that movie, but that's not what you're talking about. That was a fun joke.
Not that one, dude. Okay, no. That's Home Alone, isn't it?
Yeah, Home Alone 2. Home Alone 2, where Kevin McAllister is left in New York City. He meets Donald Trump.
That's right. It's building too, or something.
Yep.
Dude, that's so nuts. So there's this book called Baron Trump's Marvelous Underground Journey. Okay, Baron Trump, which was written in 1893. The story is about a boy named Baron who lived in Trump Castle. Baron has become bored of his life of luxury and decides to go on an adventure. And on this adventure, he is guided by a man named Don, who helped him find a time travel portal in Russia. The same author wrote a sequel 3 years later titled The Last President. The main plot of this book is about a wealthy man that lives on Fifth Avenue in New York City and decides to run for president. Shortly after he wins the election that no one thought he could, he's inaugurated and selects a new cabinet member named Mr. Pence. After his inauguration, people erupted into violence and people started to riot and damage property left and right. So here's where it gets really weird. Nikola Tesla, who had claimed to figure out time travel, had 80 trunks full of his life's work. When he died in 1943, the man responsible for collecting all of his work was an MIT professor named John G. Trump, Donald Trump's uncle. After John Trump died, there are rumors that Don inherited Tesla's work. So the theory is that Donald J. Trump used the time machine to travel into the future where he saw Hillary win the presidency, which then led the U.S. into a complete collapse. So he went back in time, decided to run for president to try to save the country. Trump's uncle, John Trump, was recruited to examine Tesla's personal papers and laboratory equipment after his passing in 1943. It is claimed that Trump's involvement in this endeavor has led to the confiscation of approximately 80 crates of Tesla's documents. The exact nature of the materials seized from Tesla remains shrouded in mystery. Speculation abounds regarding the groundbreaking scientific discoveries. Now, about this author, too, he was part of a secret society that also did time travel. This guy, Ingersoll Lockwood. Ingersoll, what a name.
Yeah. Ingersoll. We don't name our kids anything cool now.
Wow, what a name. Ingersoll. How would you even give a nickname for Ingersoll? Soul, I guess.
Gur.
Gur. Gur. Or Ing. So look at that. This
Yeah,
is
very, very bizarre.
1900 or the last president. I mean, he could be our last president. Who knows?
Well,
Oh,
that's
is
the
this
thing
what
is
this what you saw?
No.
Oh, okay.
It was a comment that said that Baron was not the name of the person that went back in time in the book.
Oh. Yeah. But it is crazy. It is
It
crazy.
is, you know, the truth is stranger than fiction.
Yep. Damn, it's 2 hours and 10 minutes. Let's see if we can get through these quickly. There are some politics stuff.
Awesome. Love politics.
We got Vivek and Musk joining the head or what?
Dude, they named it the Department of Government what?
Efficiency.
It's Doge. It's
Doge.
It's the Bitcoin that Elon Musk made. Or did he make it or did he invest?
No. He invested in it. His kid has some Doge, and all crypto is going crazy. Have you seen?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh my god, it's insane.
Yeah, you know, we always talk. Actually, we talk about it at work all the time. Is I wish I'd bought Bitcoin, like, because when I first heard about Bitcoin, it was whatever.
Yeah,
the stories kept coming out. Some guy bought a car using Bitcoin, or people buying pizza with Bitcoin, and now it's worth like just
90,000 or 91,000 now today. I think.
Yeah, like if you bought one Bitcoin in 2010, 2011, when I was first hearing about it, you'd be a millionaire. I mean, it's insanity.
I bought it at 9,000 and 14,000. I sold them 2 years ago because I need to pay off. One of my businesses wasn't doing well, so I need to pay off some stuff. So too bad I sold them, but whatever. I mean, I made a profit, but now it would be like insane amounts.
Yeah, I mean it's crazy stuff. It makes me, because I remember when the whole thing with GameStop was happening. That's when I downloaded Robinhood, yeah, and I was like, I ended up making a whole $20. But man, I wish, like
XRP is a good one. If you can get into that, it's only over $1, like a little bit over $1, and the banks created that one, so it's not going anywhere.
Right.
It was in a lawsuit with the SEC for the longest time, and now that's done. So that could be going up. Who knows? This is not investment advice, everyone.
Yeah, no.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, if you're coming to us for investment advice, just don't invest.
Exactly.
I know nothing.
Go gamble it.
Yeah, go find a poker machine or something.
It's the same thing. But this is interesting. So Doge is supposed to be cutting $2 trillion from the budget, all right, and waste. So Michael Sala has a great post about this, if you want to take it.
Elon and Vivek will soon learn that government inefficiency is the lifeblood of the deep state's black budget that funds all manner of covert projects dealing with extraterrestrial life, secret space programs, and ancient civilizations. Good luck.
He's so right, because they're not going to stop those trillions of dollars coming in.
Right.
I mean, it looks like it's waste and inefficient to us, but we know it's going to build spaceships and bases.
Yep,
is where it's going.
Well, and kind of a side tangent on this is I'm seeing a bunch of posts on X and Reddit about how the DEI departments of companies are threatening to quit in light of Donald Trump getting elected. And it's like,
I believe.
Don't you see that's the point?
Yeah, I believe AOC got rid of.
Yeah, she got rid of her pronouns and like, don't you see? Like, that's what the American people want. Like, go ahead and quit. No one's stopping you.
Exactly. This is why we're here. This is exactly why we're here.
Yep.
Hey, I should be following this guy. So Mike Waltz is the national security advisor for Trump. Apparently, he's another UFO guy.
Awesome.
Yeah. I mean, he's the national security advisor. If he gets in there, or if he is in there already, he might say, let's release this. Hopefully.
Sure hope so. Yeah.
Let's see what he says in this clip.
UFOs, UAPs, whatever you want to call it. I think we need to take this incredibly seriously.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask for a briefing and sit down of what this whistleblower is alleging. But basically, to boil it down, is Congress directed the Pentagon to put together an interagency task force across the intelligence community to look at all of these anomalies, these strange objects that are doing things that we can't explain, that are defying physics. And this individual is saying that through that process, he found compartmented programs that weren't being considered by the congressionally mandated task force, that weren't being briefed to Congress in a manner that's appropriate with oversight. And when he brought that to his superiors in the Pentagon, he was retaliated against.
Correct.
Take a step back. I think why Americans are seeing so many, feel like this is really new and they're seeing so much reporting of these sites is because we now have such a proliferation around the world of satellites, of radars, of sensors, of cameras that, 20, 30 years ago, it was, Joe Bob in his pickup truck takes a grainy photo of something he sees in the sky. Now we have radar imagery, thermals, different types of infrared sensors. You can't deny this stuff. This is real hard data that is showing objects that are doing things that can't be explained. And it's that data that we've demanded the intelligence community and the Pentagon analyze and come back to Congress to explain, and through us to the American people.
Yeah, it's also, in terms of national security, there's also been, like a reported established or seriously,
have things that with capabilities that we weren't aware of and that we can't explain, or it's otherworldly. Either way, I want to know, and the American people deserve to know what the hell it is.
Cool, man. Now, how much I feel like these guys get up there and they grandstand just to threaten and say, listen, I want to know, you need to tell me. And then they get told and they're like, well, actually, we do need to keep it secret.
Yeah. This is the question I always come back to. And it's something I've asked you multiple times on the show is like, what is the big thing? Like, what would you have to know to what would you have to be told to go like, oh shit, we can't tell anyone about this? Like, what would that big thing be?
That we're a slave species, I guess. Yeah, we don't own this planet. Tucker will tell you that they're demons or angels.
Yeah.
Oh,
nice transition.
Yeah. Here, let's listen to him. This is on, what is this show? What's his name? Pool. Yeah, Tim Pool. So he's on there saying what he thinks they are. Again, he's just guessing, although he said he saw documents.
Yeah.
People, I would say, whether they're right or wrong, I can't say conclusively. But if that is true, it's a very, very, very heavy thing.
Yeah, a lot of people say interdimensional beings.
Right. I want to ask: Are angels and demons, or how would you describe these beings?
These are, again, I'm getting into the realm of conjecture, so I just want to say that flat out.
Entity.
But one thing I know for a dead certain fact, having seen it, is that there is good and evil, that we are being acted upon at all times. And I think every person can feel that in himself. There are moments when you are moved to do things that are much better than you actually are, and that are also more evil and destructive than you actually are. You are subject to forces from outside yourself. That is absolutely true. Now, we can argue about what they are, but every person in the room, if he's reflective, will tell you, yes, I know what you're talking about. And so there are forces that are not human, that do exist in a spiritual realm of some kind, that we cannot see, and that when you think about it, sort of make you think we live in an ant farm.
Yeah.
Right? And that's that is real.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there's many artists also talking about how essentially what they do in their greatest works of art is usually done through channeling.
Of course.
And there is an aspect
not
of this
freedom chicks, by the way.
Yeah, but definitely not that
he's channeling. We haven't made anything good.
By the way, every artist will tell you that.
Exactly.
Every artist.
That something happened, that they're not themselves, that they just were doing their art, and then something just went.
No, and it's not just visual arts. It's every creative act brings you closer to something outside the human realm, and you can feel it, whether it's woodworking or writing or painting a painting or writing an opera or writing a rap song or whatever. Anything that is true and beautiful, or anything that is dark and destructive, is almost certainly a product of forces acting upon you, and you can feel it.
That's that's a really. I'm really actually glad he said that. I definitely feel that is true.
Agreed.
I mean, that's what people talk about. Their muse, or
Yeah, exactly.
That's the scary thought right there.
Yeah, many people that write music will tell you that too. That it just I don't know where it came from. Yeah,
It comes to you, which is we always think of it as human ingenuity, but what if it is outside forces that are manipulating you to produce whatever it is,
right? Or that you became in tune with or vibrating with, or so have some kind of access with them or communication with them. So something happens through you.
Yeah,
humanity's always been seen as such a being or a species that can do that. That we have one leg here and one leg over there, and that's kind of what's been going on for who knows how long.
Exactly. I mean, that's what makes. I don't know. That's what makes us. Maybe that's what makes us valuable to these
I
aliens.
think so.
That we have access to this other. I don't want to say dimension, but other influence that they could be, because it's very common amongst UFO abductees where they're asked about God or their beliefs and things like that, because they can't fathom that there is that presence over us.
Yeah, and maybe that's what the secret is too, that these forces are the ones that steer human history, and it'd be very hard to just disclose something like that, although religions have been saying it for a very long time, that human history is not owned by us.
Right.
Something else steers us to events, cataclysmic events or big events. Maybe nukes threw that off. I don't know. And that's what this war has been going on for a long time, is that we really were a slave race, just, blindly doing whatever. And then nukes maybe gave us ownership back to our destiny. I mean, it's not human destiny though, unfortunately. It's a small group of humans.
Or maybe it's even weirder, where aliens can't even fathom the fact that we would want to design something that big and
destructive. Yeah, and that's why they didn't come up with it. Like, what is wrong with these people?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's why they're always studying our nukes. Like, how did they do this? Why did they do this? They're still doing this. Are they insane? Like, what? And that's why they're so interested in us. I mean, this is all conjecture, of course, but
of course,
it is a really fascinating. Yeah, imagine that's the whole. Can you imagine if that's the reason we've been left out of being part of the alien, or all
like the Federation?
Yeah, all the Federation is they're all like they're all super peaceful. They resolve all of their interactions like peacefully, and then they go, what the hell are these hairless monkeys doing? They're blowing each other up. What is this? What is
they won't
happening?
talk to each other. They just keep sending bombs and bombing civilians and infrastructure.
There's no conflict outside of Earth, because aliens know how to communicate properly, but then they come to Earth and they're just like, Jesus Christ, what are these idiots doing?
Yeah, and it could be if you just get into the psyche of our leadership. Like, do they ever talk about peace? Forget Trump and stuff, but like,
you're right.
This empire does not want peace. It always needs war, always wants war. We have bases everywhere, enemies everywhere.
They're doing what to little kids?
And
what?
Yeah, exactly. It's funny that Israeli, the retired Israeli official is saying that humans need to evolve. Yeah, no shit. He should start at home first.
Yeah, exactly. Well, no, you have to remember, you and I are both Arab. Arabs aren't people.
Oh yeah, no, we're not. Right.
Yeah, no, they're scum.
We're not God's chosen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Fucking Israel.
I know, it's ridiculous. And it could be why. So here's Area 51. You sent me this UFO swarms filmed buzzing over Area 51. And people ask, why is it always U.S. bases? I think because we're meddling the most in the world. That's why.
Mm-hmm.
They like, just to talk about what you just said, is that they're interested in what are we doing? What are they doing over there? Why are they so obsessed with creating these weapons of war?
Yeah, I mean, and isn't that all of human history? I mean, I feel like all of our technology, all of our development has been, because of war. it always, sure, it starts out as a military thing and then it becomes on the citizen side, but I feel like every advancement that humankind has, it's from war. I mean, look at our best airplanes. Look at the F-22. Look at the SR-71. Those are aircraft that are very highly technologically advanced, but they were created due to war. Not even a war that we were in, just because we want to be in war.
Yep, exactly. And it's a
F-22
policy
right there. Perfect.
And it is a policy within the government that when they study these things, they can only fund it if it's going to create a weapon.
Yeah.
So it's already baked in the cake. Like, they're not going to study these things for the betterment of mankind, but it's just for military advancement.
Right.
So
and then in 20 years, the regular, citizen Joe will see the outcomes then.
I mean, I think it's a trick. They put that policy in there, it creates a weapon of war, but then they can say, oh, well, wait a minute. Well, how can we apply this to commercial things? And then,
how can we
apply it to commercial things?
How can we make even more money from this?
Right.
I do have to say the F-22, very sexy aircraft. Look at that thing.
So cool. Yeah.
Oh, it's such a good looking aircraft.
Man, we can make jets, that's for sure. I mean, China can't. They just sit there and copy ours.
Yeah. What's their? I don't even remember.
The new one, the Su-35 or something. It looks like a
SU is Russia, I think.
Oh,
but it was in the. They even had them in the new. Oh my God, why am I blanking on? Tom Cruise flying planes.
Oh yeah, yes, they were in there. Yeah. So we still have issues with our bases being swarmed by drones, quote unquote drones.
Yeah, quote unquote. Yeah. Does this say Area 54? Oh no, it does say Area 51. Yep, there it is.
Alien Center. I'd love to go to Area 51 or
dude. We need to start as soon as we start making like money from this podcast and we can quit our jobs. We need to just tour around the U.S. and go to. We talked about West Virginia earlier, obviously, but yeah, I would absolutely love that. We just
do a show in each city. It would go meet people. And we just talk about what happened. Maybe bring it in the show even.
Oh my God, that'd be so much fun.
It would be so much fun. Come on, guys. Click on that support button.
I'm not going to ask you. You know what? If you're listening, spend your money wisely. Spend your money. Put food on your table. Put a roof over your head.
That's priority. Yes.
Yeah, that's absolute priority.
And then there's some sightings we can go through. This one's a bit weird. I don't know what this is.
Oh, I love weird sightings.
It's these orbs over water, and they just blink out.
Oh yeah, look. We're sure those are not. Oh, what?
Yeah.
Oh, what?
Yeah, and then they come back. So it's like blinking out of existence.
Yeah.
Oh, see, it shows up somewhere else.
Whoa! What?
Yeah.
Wow! What? This is really cool footage.
And it's always those three orbs. What?
Yeah, blinked out, came out. Wow.
Pop in here, pop in there.
This is clearly the planet Venus.
A very confused one.
Are you seeing that? I don't know.
Is this Florida?
V formation matching the examples. You might want to check this out. He tagged Trump.
Yeah, it doesn't say.
Phase in and phase out or dematerialize is a higher tiered post-quantum CTP psi science process we refer to as C energy. Okay.
Yeah, bunch of big words.
What are you talking about, man?
Very cool footage. Wow, I was like, okay, that's a balloon. Those are balloons.
Right. So now we can't see anything.
Mm-hmm.
And there it shows up again. So these are not like FLIR or anything.
Yeah, I mean, this is clearly filmed by someone with an iPhone.
Right, because the dimensions as well.
Yeah. Wow.
Video,
that's crazy.
shaky.
Cool stuff.
Very cool. Orbs were everywhere last week. There was another one.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Look at this one. Complete daylight. These could be balloons. Okay, I'm not going to say it or not.
It's always in a triangle shape, though, huh?
Yeah. Daddy, what are those? He's ignoring them.
Could be balloons, sure, but yeah, wow. Huh.
But they're moving exactly like...
Yeah. Like, it looks like a triangle craft.
There's more right here.
Oh, there's two more.
All right. Also in a triangle formation. Weird.
Nothing, get down.
Aren't those the same one?
Huh.
Weird, huh?
Very weird. Cool. Very cool footage. Yeah. Lots of good footage this week.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my God, 2 hours and a half. What are we doing? Is a UFO crash? I don't know about this one. 50th anniversary of a Pennsylvania UFO crash. Not a big deal. They said it crashed in the swamp or a pond or something. And then officers went in there and basically said, oh, someone threw a lantern in there. But all the witnesses say, no, it was not a lantern. We saw it fly over.
Oh, UFO crash in Pennsylvania. I guess that's why Trump got elected.
Yeah, probably. An urban legend.
The aliens influenced our elections.
Yeah,
well,
wouldn't surprise me.
I'm going to have to look into this deeper. Cool stuff. Crashed into a pond in Pennsylvania City. Yeah, I've never heard of this.
Me neither. You want to watch the video? Even though we're too...
Nah, we're running out of time here.
All right, so what's next? We got crazy Hegseth, our new Secretary of Defense, says Zionism is Americanism.
Oh boy.
And he goes, there's no such thing as dual loyalty.
Yeah, I mean, we knew this was going to happen. You had sent me that text saying, never mind.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that we knew that what Trump was going to do with his positions of national security positions. We knew it. The guy's a Zionist.
Yeah,
we're not naive, but we need someone who's going to fix this country domestically, and no one's perfect. No one's going to be perfect for the United States and with foreign policy.
Yeah,
but
no, of course not.
He did promise peace, so we'll see. Even though these guys are crazy war hawks and just worshippers of Israel, maybe
you gotta take the good with the bad.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that's how it goes in this country.
And this guy's a Fox News host, so he'll be easily controllable. So I'm saying, like, he's not going to just do what he wants, even though he's got a crazy ideology. Maybe, hopefully, we'll let him do what he wants.
Yeah, we'll see.
So, do we want to hear this guy, or is it just going to make us angry?
No, if it's going to make us angry, let's skip it.
Okay, so I thought this would work. So some of you won't be ready. This is Jay Anderson. As far as I know, I'm the first to discover this. Each circle is perfectly placed on a building of importance, all with correct civic geometries that perfectly match the ratios of the Kabbalah.
Oh,
the
nice.
odds
That's
of that would be astonishing. This is Washington, D.C. Yeah,
I remember Kabbalah. I must have been about 14 or 15 when that was sweeping the nation.
Yeah, I remember when Madonna became.
Yeah, I was gonna say
right,
Madonna was. But
all of these are locations. Like, here's the Capitol. Here's the mall. I think this is. Wait, does he have? Wait a minute. Where are the labels? So it doesn't surprise me when Hegseth says that Zionism is Americanism. When you look at it, when you look at the esoteric, they design our cities. The Freemasons designed it in a way, but they also this Kabbalah. So here's the U.S. Capitol, Georgetown University. They're exactly like that.
That's crazy. I mean, it's not a huge surprise when you look at how our country was formed.
Right.
Who was involved with that and what allegiances they had.
Yeah, and Freemasons founded this country, and they're going to put that stuff into designs of our cities, because that's what Freemasons do.
Yep.
So we can't deny our history. So maybe people say that Freemasonry is just Kabbalah for the Gentiles, and we're seeing that, and that may explain the obsession that our federal government has with that country.
Definitely.
And yeah, it's just if it doesn't make sense for a lot of us, and you're not, especially if you're not evangelical Christian, then there is something esoteric about it. So I thought this was funny. Matt Gaetz got nominated for Attorney General.
Yeah, I still think he's the one that's not going to make it through the Senate approval or whatever the hell.
You might be right. Here's some clips of him saying some things, some very offensive things, but they're funny. But he is strong too. When I see him in the Congress, the guy says some great things. He's like on COVID, he was on the right side. With J6, he was on the right side, and all the woke stuff as well.
Mm-hmm.
I think he'll prosecute people because of COVID, but yeah, maybe because of that they won't.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm.
Like, why is it that the women with the least likelihood of getting pregnant are the ones most worried about having abortions? Nobody wants to impregnate you if you look like a thumb.
Is it safe to say that based off of your comments, you're suggesting that these women at these abortion rallies are ugly and overweight?
Yes.
What do you say to people who think that those comments are offensive?
Be offended.
Those comments are offensive. What do you say to people?
That clip's
so
Yes. Rallies are women at these abortion rallies are ugly and overweight?
Yes.
What do you say to people who think that those comments are offensive?
Be offended.
I will never understand. Well, perhaps it's because I'm not a woman, but I'll never understand the whole uproar about abortion. I mean, it's not like they're banning condoms. It's not like they're banning birth control. It's not like they're banning safe sex. You know,
It's not illegal anywhere. It really isn't.
Yeah, no, they stopped it from being a federal issue and turned it into a state issue.
Yeah.
They're returning the rights to the states, as you know, I think
rightfully so.
Yeah, rightfully so. But I still don't understand. It takes, I don't know. I don't know. I'm speaking out of pocket. I'm not a woman. I'm not
Right.
someone in a committed relationship, but it takes a lot to get pregnant. And
Yeah.
it's not like they're forcing anyone to get pregnant to force you to have babies. I mean, you can practice safe sex, you can wear a condom, you can be on birth control, there even plan B, it's still there. It's all still there. You know what I mean? I just don't I don't see the uproar. I don't
look,
understand the uproar.
If you talk about it constitutionally, the federal government should not,
No.
be involved with that, because it should be in every community is different. You have conservative communities, you have religious communities, you have liberal communities, you have libertarian communities. Each one should determine, because those are very personal laws. So it shouldn't be blanket federal government, because we know, we invite them into our lives and they start regulating our lives. It's just going to be corrupt, and But anyway, it's even those crazy states that have made, like Texas. It's not if it's I think rape and incest, it's still allowed for abortion.
Yeah, like
like
I was just gonna say, like I understand the need for abortion in terms of those, like you said, like rape, incest. Like I totally get that.
Yeah.
But how hard is it to have sex and not get pregnant? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
it's
there's lots of ways.
I don't understand it, truthfully.
Yeah, and it's something that they're just focusing on big time.
And that's why they lost, because if you look, what is it, like 40 something percent of women don't like abortion?
Yeah.
Like it's not a huge, turning point for a lot of people.
Right. It's been hurting us as a civilization too.
Yeah, I mean, wasn't Planned Parenthood, wasn't that created to stop black people from having babies?
Yes, the founder was a racist and a eugenicist.
Yeah,
he was a blatant eugenicist that wanted. Yeah,
but don't dare look into that.
No, don't you dare! And they had a statue of her. I think they brought it down or something.
Weird.
But so he has, and Matt Gaetz, we know he's great on UFOs as well. He went to the Air Force Base with Luna in Florida to meet with the Air Force pilots and the general who denied him the information. So this guy is going to be AG, hopefully. So many of these people are for UFO disclosure and transparency, and I think,
you got a lot of traffic going on over there, huh?
No, I think it's a bastard NSA fucker. Because it keeps going round and round.
Yeah, I hear it.
bastard. Come at me, bro.
They're on to us.
Yeah, come at me, bro. Oh no, what's that? What is that? Is that a black van?
Oh God, is that a black van? Someone came outside. I think he's a man.
Well, I think we should play a song at the end of the show, and then we can do the.
I think the song like 2 episodes ago, that one I
yeah, I like it too. The message in the acoustic one, the message.
Yes.
Yeah. You can end with that one.
Okay.
I like that one. So that, I mean, I think we have RFK Jr. in there also. He's for UFO disclosure. So all those people in the right places hopefully will get us to UFO disclosure and transparency. Hopefully also they'll be for peace and not war.
Yeah, I really hope so. We talked about it last week. Obviously, the election had just happened, but I think people are really sick of the current regime.
Yep.
People don't want war. They want, what drives me nuts is people go, "Oh, look at the stock market. Look at unemployment rates."
Yeah.
Meanwhile, none of us can afford groceries or gas prices.
Right.
And that's what people are actually voting for.
Right. And they're just sick of seeing hundreds of billions of dollars shoveled out of here and sent overseas to prop up, tyrannical governments that don't even have elections, like Zelensky, The guy's basically a dictator.
Yeah, exactly. And same with Israel,
Same with Israel. It's the same thing. Yeah, we send all our weapons there. We support them so much with our own military. All of our ships are over there. We're sending, yes, a lot of people see them as an ally, and they do donate a lot of money to our political, and they're part of our politics and media and so much. We are intertwined.
Yeah.
But at some point, the relationship is just going to destroy us, which will just destroy them.
Yeah, this is the whole argument with NATO, is all these countries going, oh, if the US backs out, we're all done. And it's like, if you look at how much the US donates to NATO versus all of the other countries combined, is like a fifth of what the US brings to NATO. And it's like, so why are we doing this?
Yeah. Exactly.
If you want to defend your borders, defend your borders. Why are you relying on us? And I think that's why a lot of people are we're done. We're done.
And seek peace. Why don't you guys seek peace? Why don't you go ahead and talk to each other? Have a peaceful solution. Same thing with Israel and Palestine, that region. Just have peace, man. Think of ways to do peace.
And wasn't NATO formed to fight against Germany? And the whole point was to deform, is that a word? We were going to separate after Germany was defeated. Oh, hey, look at that. We didn't do that.
We expanded, and we kept expanding. And I forget who it was, but I think Clinton's Secretary of State, they promised Russia that, we would not move an inch to the east or something. And we've just taken over so many other, or it's not taken over, but so many other countries have joined NATO, just encroaching on Russia.
Yeah, weird.
Yeah.
Imagine if Brazil, Mexico, Argentina, all those countries in America, imagine if they all got together and, got on their southern border. We'd be doing what NATO is doing right now.
Oh yeah, exactly. If not worse.
Yeah.
So, but I think good times are ahead. I'm hopeful.
If nothing else, I love watching hardcore Democrats completely lose their minds over this election. Now they're saying that Elon Musk used Starlink to influence our elections, which I don't even know how that works, but I love it because they said if you question the elections in 2020, then you're a terrorist. And now
you're an election denier.
That's exactly what they're doing right now.
It's back and forth.
God, I love it. They got beat so bad. It wasn't even close.
In Congress now. No, it wasn't. But now they're trying. I don't know if because apparently Republicans retained the House, but I think they're playing games in California and Pennsylvania.
That was the other thing. Is like, well, maybe they'll win the House. Maybe they'll win the House.
I hope not. Because that's how they stopped him.
It's done. They called it. Republicans have the House now.
All right, good.
But it's something, and I'm pretty sure I've said this on the show before, is the pendulum swings back and forth for the last 10 years. Well, I can't even say that because Trump won in 2016. But
but he really put the wrong people in there, you know.
Yeah,
but I'm not saying these people are perfect either.
Right, but the public opinion, it goes left, it goes right, it goes left, it goes right.
It does.
It's very much right now.
Yeah, because it's the people in the middle that choose.
Yeah,
you know, they're the ones who are the one, because the left, the extreme left and extreme right, those people will always vote for either left or right. But people in the middle have to say, all right, they have to assess their situation and see who's going to be better to improve it.
Yeah, exactly.
And the Republicans won it this time. Cool.
Can you hear that?
Yeah, I did hear that. I did.
I ordered some Chinese food for dinner, and
Yum.
Emma is going nuts, as she always does. So
Well,
I gotta get off this call.
All right, let's do it.
But this was a really fun episode. Thank you all so much for listening. Of course, I'm joined by I Demand to Know Adam.
That's right, everyone.
And Adam, where can we find us on social media? Because I'm looking.
We are exclusively at, well, when it comes to social media, we're exclusively on X or Twitter, just so we don't have to worry about people, I don't know, reporting us and getting us deplatformed. We're sure that our stuff will remain on there. We are, however, on YouTube, and they do take some episodes out, so we might usually have to edit some things out to make them approved. But we're on Rumble, BitChute, Odyssey, and those platforms that are good on censorship as well. So check us out there. We're on Apple Podcasts, all major big ones. Spotify is our main one, but we're on every single platform. Thank you for everyone who brought us onto those smaller platforms, which we didn't do. Other than that, you can click on our support link, which is at the bottom of every single episode. Do that. Help us share our stuff with your friends and family. Share it on social media.
Yeah, that's a really important one. Share the show.
Yeah, share the show if you
or
can.
Tell a family member.
Yeah, exactly. And we'd love this show to get bigger. We'd love it to explore more of this, to be part of the effort to bring transparency into this field. So help us do that.
Absolutely. And I am the Topher, and I'm going to tell you 2 movies you need to watch.
Yeah.
If you're into horror, this is the show for you. Mom, you can pretty much turn off the episode now. There's a movie called The Void, which absolutely fantastic, very Lovecraftian type horror, very good movie.
Cool.
And then Sphere, that was originally a Crichton book.
Yeah,
he wrote Jurassic Park. And honestly, so really weird story. I had horrible nightmares as a kid about eggs falling from the sky and hatching into jellyfish.
You're kidding
and I
me.
never knew what that was about. I'm assuming at some point I had seen this movie as a young kid, and I don't remember. Sphere. Anyway, and then in college I came across it and was like, "Whoa, this is where all my nightmares came from." This movie, and it's not even that scary of a movie, although my
Sphere, kinda, yeah, not really.
It's scary, but man, the dialogue is so natural. It's such a good movie. I really like it. Dustin Hoffman?
He's in there. Queen Latifah's in there.
Queen Latifah,
yeah.
Samuel L. Jackson.
Samuel Jackson.
Lots of big names in there. That one woman who showed her lady part.
Oh, Sharon Stone. Sharon
Stone's in that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great film.
Is. Highly recommended. The Void's good too. You told me to watch it, and I watched it. It's really good.
Yeah, The Void is. Yeah, I was gonna say I think both of these are movies that I've recommended before, but I watched them both this weekend. Man, so good.
Nice. There's George Knapp. He's got an episode series out on Netflix. I watched the first 2 episodes. They were good.
Fantastic. What's it called?
Yeah. Investigation Alien, I think.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, you'll enjoy it.
All right, great. I am the one and only Topher.
The Topher.
I'm the Topher. We want to thank you all so much for listening. This is episode what, 97?
98.
98. We're gonna I guess our 100 episode is gonna be before I leave for Christmas break.
Or do you for Christmas? Oh wait, when are we taking 2 weeks off? Is that when we're taking 2 weeks off?
Yeah, right around like Christmas and New Year's is when I'm out of town.
All right, cool. Yeah, so we can do it before then. We'll probably do a live stream. So I think when we do the live stream, it's going to be a waiting room for like, I don't know, 15 minutes till we see everyone come in, and then we'll do it. But that should be fun.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It should be a really good time.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, we want to thank you all so much for listening to the Uncovering Anomalies podcast. And as always, we'll see you next week.
Yep, we'll play a song at the end here, and then we'll finish it out.
Hell yeah, brother.
Message in the static, a shadow in the dark, a light against the stars, a podcast from afar. It's Adam and Topher, we come in peace. Our hunt for the truth will never cease. It's the Uncovering Anomalies podcast, where the truth is told until the last. Listen to our words and hear our voices. We can't save you, but present your choices.
So spooky.
In the static, a shadow in the dark, a light against the stars, a podcast from afar. It's Adam and Topher, we come in peace. Our hunt for the truth will never cease. It's the Uncovering Anomalies podcast, where the truth is told until the last. Listen to our words and hear our voices. We can't save you, but present your choices. We can't save you, but present your choices. We can't save your choices. We can't save you, present your choices. Present your choices. We can't save you. We can't save you, but present your choices.